Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You are listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm Ryan Sliwinski.
And I'm Bartek.
You don't want to say your last name?
Is it necessary?
I said my last name.
Bartek Kasprzyszak.
Yes. And why are we called Spit and Polish, Bartek?
Because we're always spitting and we are both Polish.
That's correct. We both happen to be spitting all the time and we are both Polish. Bartek, what is it that we do here on the show? What is it that we do with Unappreciated Masterpieces?
You know how Indiana Jones goes out and finds things?
Yes, he's an archaeologist, yeah.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We find movies. Movies that, obviously because they're hidden, movies that aren't appreciated as much today. Whether they did well in the past or have always been, kind of with audiences. We take them and we expose or re-expose people to why these movies, are the greatest movies out there.
Yeah. Yeah, when you brought up this Indiana Jones imagery, I'm thinking, instead of, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of Big Fat Liar, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, what we do is, basically, we get forgotten movies, ones that aren't completely forgotten. They're still in the memory banks, or you may have heard of them, or you at least know the people involved with the production, and we do an audio commentary, and we talk about why we should focus on these films more, why this film was made, the behind the scenes, and just generally why we find it to be an excellent film. And what is the excellent unappreciated film we're doing today, Bartek?
Bro, today we are doing the classic 2005 film Zgadnij.
Okay. If I had to take a guess,
I did tell you to guess, yeah.
I don't speak Polish. I mean, I know I am Polish, but I just wasn't raised to speak it, so
I see.
I don't know what you said.
Okay, I'm sorry. The movie that we are doing today is the adaptation of the classic game where you guess which character you are. Guess who?
That's not
I'm just kidding, guys. It's a modern day adaptation of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Oh, Guess Who?
Yes, Guess Who.
Oh, that modern classic. Yeah, Guess Who is a very loose modern adaptation of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the Sidney Poitier classic. And Bartek, we don't always do these alone, do we?
Oh, they've only been alone twice.
Twice. So we need a guest to help us with this classic Guess Who. Who can you take a guess who? Can you take a guess who will be our guest? Could be anyone.
If I had to say anyone in the entire world, I would have to say, what is some imagery that comes to my head? A bank. A person coming to take money. They're robbing the bank. Rob. Is his name Rob?
It's Rob.
Rob Crawford.
Rob Crawford. I wanted you to keep going. Hi, Rob.
Nice to be here. How's it going?
I wanted him to keep going with guessing your name. It was like, they're at a bank. They're robbing the bank. Rob. What's the last name? Cindy. No, not Cindy. Crawford. So, Rob, you're here for the classic mid-2000s movie Guess Who with Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I'd never seen this film until you mentioned it to me during the week, and I'll start with my first impression, because this is the first impression I had of this film, and I had to write this down because it was so wild. You told me about the film, and I said, all right, I'm going to go on YouTube. I might watch a trailer before I get stuck in, so I know what I'm pushing. Some bright spark had decided to put the whole film up there and went, oh, perfect, I can watch it all right now. And in the summary, I thought that he'd taken the actual blurb from the film. No, he hasn't. This is what he wrote. This movie prompts racism. Bernie Mac's daughter brings her boyfriend home to meet her parents. He is not accepted and mistreated because of the colour of his skin. And I said, yes, I'm in. I'm in.
So, that's what got you.
That's what got me.
So, the movie isn't far from what it said. So, to give some context, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the classic 60s film, where the plot is, the white girl brings home the black boyfriend, and her parents are very, very rich and very, very white and very kind of old-fashioned-esque, but they're kind of willing to give leeway. Like, the mum is kind of cool, but she's still racist, and the dad's kind of harsh, but he's still kind of like, I love my daughter. And all of that. And it's amazingly about the racial the racial tolerance and intolerance and all that. And Sidney Poitier being defensive and blah, blah, blah. Well, this takes it in the opposite direction, which is it's a black girl brings a white boy home, and it's not just about the racial stuff, but it's about fatherhood, masculinity, and purity as well, because he doesn't want.
It's about family.
It's about family.
Yeah,
it's a family movie.
It is a family movie.
It's a family picture.
we were discussing this movie a lot before we even pressed play.
Well, I just need to give a build up because it's. I do believe. I can't remember. We've done a lot of movies now, Rob. But is this one of the first movies where? Is it one of the first where it's a remake of an already existing classic film?
Does Just Visiting count?
Oh yeah, I guess that was but it's had the same cast and same writers, so
same
I
main
guess
characters.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least Guess Who's Coming to
Also,
is a cinematic classic.
What about the last episode, Annie?
Oh yeah, Annie. Nah, screw Annie. So we're
It's a musical,
gonna.
doesn't count.
Yeah. So we're gonna be getting into Guess Who in just a bit, but I've got to say, Rob didn't watch this beforehand? Until Rob had never seen it before until I mentioned it. I had never seen it before. And had you ever seen it before, Bartek?
No, when you brought it up, I didn't know if it would be what I said earlier
for the show.
No, based on the game or something. It could have been anything.
You know these classic board games?
It's a murder mystery featuring the cast of Guess Who, the board game.
They did make Clue into a movie with Tim Curry.
They did.
And Guess Who does have a bunch of characters, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you could guess. So I never seen this movie before, but it was a gamble because sometimes I'm like, oh, but I saw the trailer and I remember the trailer from when you used to have DVDs where they had the ads for other movies beforehand. I'm like, oh, I can never forget about that one.
And I suppose one other thing we should mention is the reality is Ryan, while he was trapped on an island at the time, he really wanted to be on for Old Dogs because that was one of Bernie Mac's last movies.
Bernie Mac.
So right now, Ryan gets to finally be on an episode where Bernie Mac is actually a main character.
Let's start the Bernie Mac Guess Who journey with Ashton Kutcher and Zoe Saldana as well. So let's start this beast in 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's just sitting here at the moment. Okay, now we are, just so you know, we're now 8 seconds in. It just froze for a second there. So, Zoe Saldana's in this movie. We all know Zoe Saldana?
The lovely Zoe Saldana.
I don't know her as much.
Ferociously attractive Zoe Saldana. She's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
She is.
She's green in that instead of black.
Yes.
And she is also in Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one.
She is in that.
She was the captain of the ship that he borrowed, and she's like, I hate you. She's like, I hate you so much. I'm like, good for you. I would hate Johnny Depp too. He doesn't seem like a great guy.
Is she in Stargate? Or am I imagining that?
The TV show?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel
Stargate went for so long
Yeah.
that it had so many people come and go from that show. I would not be
I
surprised.
did have a troll through her IMDb after watching this movie because I was thinking
She did
about
a
her
lot
quite a
of
lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of stuff that you could argue is unappreciated masterpieces. So we are now brought into the world. We're brought in by what you could argue is our lead character, which is Bernie Mac. Would you say he's our protagonist, or is he the
I
antagonist?
feel like he's our antagonist, but when you're wearing a suit like that, you could be anything.
When your last name is Mac, you could be anything.
Well, his last name is Jones.
Percy
Jones.
Oh, you guys remembered his name?
Percy Jones. I remember his name because when you watch this film, he talks in third person a lot about how Percy Jones does this, Percy Jones does that.
Did you mention his name was Percy Jones?
I don't think I did mention that enough, and I think we'll continually mention it, but his name's Percy Jones.
Take a shot every time they say Percy Jones, and you'll be gone. So we're not only introduced to Percy Jones. Percy Jones is not only introduced by himself, Percy Jones, but he is introduced with another character, Reggie, who is not Percy Jones.
Yes.
And Reggie is one of my, not my favourite, but one of my favourite characters because he just kind of comes and goes when he pleases from the plot, which is very relieving. He is the personification of comic relief in a comedy movie.
There's no real point for him to be there, but every time he is there, you're happy that he is there.
You wonder what his life story is about.
He's very much, if you think back to Snow Dogs, Cisco in Snow Dogs.
Yeah.
He's introduced as like the crazy comic relief character, but most of the scenes are not set around Cisco.
Yeah. I got really confused in this opening credits. That
Same.
guy's talking, but it's not his
not him.
voice.
It's
And you
Ashton
think
Kutcher.
like, I didn't know that black man sounded like Ashton Kutcher. And, that's very interesting. So, we're seeing both of these business guys' lives. This guy's quitting his business. Isn't it interesting that the evil businessman, his computer screen is purple, while Percy Jones wears purple? I guess they're both antagonists.
We should
And
think about
racists.
Yeah, like when this scene initially happens, I feel like it's very quick into what's happening. There's not really much explanation from either their point why he's quitting. It just sort of cuts him in the room. I'm quit, and we're also just set there left in the dark as to why is he quit.
It's a mystery.
And we don't really get there until probably at the last 5 minutes of the film, where he actually
You know
explains why he quit.
You know why I did that. This film learnt a lot from other films. Now, when we do this show, we say that these films inspire other films, but of course, films get inspired by other things. And I think this director, this writing, is very Tarantino-esque in ways of time displacement and withholding information. I'm not saying that this film influenced such other films like Inception and pretty much most of Christopher Nolan's body of work, but I think it could have. I like that these two security guards make a bet. Like they're like,
straight off the bat, yeah.
And we never see any result of that. Like, it's just like, oh, they're betting on this guy. She's my favorite too. She's like, okay, I'll just get the next one. Okay, then. Like, she's like, where's the other Ashton Kutcher movie I'm supposed to be in?
Yeah, like...
But he's talking to the camera. These guys are, like, laughing at him. And you think, like, oh, when he comes down, one of them's going to, like, take the money and be like, yeah. But they just, like, say goodbye to him. They're like, goodbye.
It's like, we know what happens in the movie, so we know who wins the bet, but we don't see them, like, acknowledge that they won the bet.
Have you guys ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
No.
That security guard is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as Scully.
Which one?
The one with the hair...
mustache?
No, the one without the mustache.
The flat top head.
He always has the same haircut in every single thing he's in.
Because he's going bald. That's probably
No,
why.
he's still got hair in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that's like 10 years after this. So think about it. This guy just has a military-grade haircut.
This movie, even on the offset when I first started watching this, especially from the way Ashton Kutcher's character behaves, Simon Green, straight off the bat, I was thinking, this is Meet the Parents. This is just another version of Meet the Parents.
But it's ballsier than Meet
It is
the
a lot more
Parents.
ballsy than Meet the Parents, but you
It
feel a
doesn't
lot
rely
of
on
similar.
puns.
There's a lot of similarity. There's better puns, but there's that overly awkward guy with the family, and even from this point, when you can see him talking to people, you go, he's just going to make me feel awkward this whole film.
Ashton Kutcher makes you feel awkward every film. I mean,
That is true.
look, I love Ashton Kutcher. He's great, but I got to be honest, he is one of those names in Hollywood that kind of make you go, yeah, I'm going to pass. Thank you. And I think that's a part of the reason for why this movie didn't do as successful as it could have. I'm not saying Ashton Kutcher was miscast. I think he's just got an aura about him as an actor. The name, just his body of work doesn't make you thrilled. I think obviously his best piece of work would be That 70s Show, perfectly cast
I love
as
Kelso.
Kelso. But he's tried to branch away from that kind of characterization because during that time he was like, dude, where's my car? And all this stuff. Well, this is him. He's not playing a dude. He's playing like a man in this. And it's kind of hard because...
Like a white boy.
He's playing a white boy. You're used to him playing the goofy guy who laughs and giggles and is high most of the time or something like that. So when we see Ashton Kutcher like branching out, like playing Stephen Jobs and stuff like that, you just kind of don't take it seriously yet. But, you know, all great actors... You know, it takes the time, like Keanu Reeves, you know, it took him quite a while to get out of the Bill and Ted mold, and then, you know, The Matrix happened, and it's taken him a while to get out of just the action star role, but then he just does John Wick, and he just can't help but think.
And even back last week to Black Annie, he was in it for a parody movie that they went to see at a cinema.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher was in Annie 2014.
As a Twilight parody of Edward Cullen.
Oh, wow.
And Mila Kunis was Bella. It was great. So, Zoe Saldana, I'm just going to be honest. I think she is hotter now than she is in this movie when she's significantly younger. I think she's one of those few people that have gotten a lot more attractive as the decade has rolled by. I think that's a fair statement to say. What do you think, Rob?
I'm just generally in love with her through this whole entire film. I felt a lot of my points watching this where I was like, I should be focusing on plot and characters, and most of the time I was sitting there going, I wish I was Ashton Kutcher kissing Zoe Saldana right now. But
You're not.
I'm not.
You could.
This is a great setup. This video is a great setup. It's a great setup into the life of Percy Jones, because you see this crazy man, boggled eyes, and he sort of says, "Oh, well, look, I'm sure you lost that game." He was really upset, and she goes, "No, actually, we won.
We won that. We were winning."
So already we go, Percy Jones is not a person to get on the bad side of.
Yeah. So...
This is my favourite character of the whole film.
Dante?
This guy, he steals the show.
The metrosexual?
He is the subtext of this whole film that everyone ignores, which is the love between Percy Jones and Simon Green. And we know that is the real true story here. And this man is the reason for it. Yeah, I'll come back to this later. But he is the man.
He notices this. Okay, so he's already gone on favourite point of character, his favourite.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to surprise you here, Rob, and everyone in the audience listening. If you have not seen this movie, see it. Because the character that we're going to discuss right now is really obscure. He's in like one scene.
We're going to talk about him now?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
We brought up favourite characters. There's a character later on, Rob, called Marcus. Do you remember Marcus?
Yes. Ryan
He is clearly the best character. So later on, we will discuss it, but it's like later on, they're all having a bitch party where all the women are like, "Oh, men are terrible," and then like one this guy,
once a man walks out of his bedroom,
really like groggy, and he owns the house, and it's like his wife's house and whatever. And he's like,
I gotta go to work.
Sorry,
in the morning.
I gotta go work.
And just for the fashion people at home, the sneakers on the suit of the man who's meant to be the classy guy dressing the wedding, he's wearing sneakers with his suit. Continue. Sorry,
I did not notice that.
Take that,
Yeah.
film people. So Marcus is a husband, and he's just like, I gotta go to work, and they all respect him. He seems like the only man in this movie that gains respect, and I respect that, and I respect him. Hence is my favorite character. Hence is Bartek's favorite as well.
For this movie, masculinity is a very big theme, especially
Absolutely.
with Percy Jones,
Absolutely.
whose name is Percy Jones, by
Percy-
the way. And
Percy Jones.
Percy Jones talks a lot, like literally, he talks a lot of
He just doesn't shut up.
talking about masculinity, whereas Marcus, he's got like one, maybe two lines in this whole movie.
He's the most masculine guy in the film.
Yes.
The strong silent type, the Gary Cooper type, Tony Soprano.
He's got a backstory that shows off exactly like what a man is, but we don't see it because it's not his story.
This for people who are watching this film, this scene where they're discussing how he looks up the credit report of Simon. What kind of person are you when your loved one or your daughter, whoever it may be, goes, I want to bring someone into our life who is really special to me, and your immediate thought is, I wonder how much money they owe to the bank.
Well,
let's look that up.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly insane. Here's something I want to bring up. 2 points. I think this film is really intelligent upon a second viewing of it now. When I first watched it, I was very impressed, but now seeing it again with you guys talking, I'm very impressed with the filmmaking quality of two main things. I'll talk about the shorter one first. The foreshadowing. She says, and I can't remember if it's in this scene, I think it is, she's like, oh, by Sunday, you'll be a part of the family. She isn't wrong. By Sunday, he becomes a part of the family. That's an actual phrase. And the second one is the representation of colour. And I don't mean of skin, obviously. I mean of wardrobe. I just mentioned before that purple, and I meant this like off the cuff, but now I'm actually thinking of it. I'm thinking of it. Purple. Is that the colour of antagonists in this movie? And I want to know, when Ashton Kutcher does kind of get jerky towards the end and antagonistic, if he's wearing a purple colour or something bluish or whatever. I want to note that down. Because it seems like Percy Jones, who's the antagonist, wearing purple. His boss had a purple screen on. I just want to know if that's just on purpose or just happened to be in this movie. I don't know. On purpose? Yeah. So she literally stopped. Okay, this is one of these moments where Mike Epps puts on the brakes because she's like, oh no, stop, he's white. And the many times I've been in car crashes because people have realized I'm white, You know, I don't see race, but people tell me I'm white, and I have to take their word for it, Rob, because the police call me sir. You know, I just have to assume they're correct. But I love how he literally stops and is like, "Argh!" And like they smash their heads and whatever, which makes me go, their seatbelts should be, I don't know, on. They don't have them on, and they already got into a car crash.
Maybe it's not a family movie. If they're not wearing seatbelts, then I don't know if I could take my kids to watch this.
It's clearly for adults.
So here's a question.
Screw the racism. It's the seatbelt safety that I'm concerned with.
Absolutely.
So here's a question to bring up. She mentioned that she mentioned that she didn't mention to her family that he's white, specifically because it doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
Yes, she said that in the taxi, and it's been established, but it gets brought up a lot in this movie that she didn't bring it up.
Yeah, I look, I'll be honest. I completely understand where everyone but Zoe Saldana comes from on this issue. It seems like everyone else is correct on this issue but her, because it's just like, the cab driver's like, oh, it will matter. And Ashton Kutcher's like, it will matter. And Percy Jones is like, it matters. But she's like, it doesn't matter. Evidently it did for a small period of time.
Yeah, so what is the movie trying to say on this issue? What do you think it's saying?
A lot.
Or is I think it's trying to say, for at least for this generation, the younger generation, which is Ashton Kutcher and Zoe Saldana, that it's not. But with Percy Jones, who may be from a different time, it is. And we definitely like get into that later in the film when they have the dinner scene with the grandfather.
Yeah.
And it is a big thing here, and that's like it is the main point of the film. That is about race relationships. Obviously, it's the reverse of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but it is the key point because he's from a different time where he may have experienced things differently to them. He obviously finds it quite difficult to understand this. Yeah. Hence this scene where he thinks that the taxi driver is her girlfriend.
And this guy takes it full mileage.
And he takes it right to the end.
So,
as you would. If I was me, I would have said all this.
Rob brought up a good point. What I think really is Percy Jones is a tragic hero because from what we get about him is from the wife, you know, what she says about the relation between Percy and her father, very similar, standoffish, and they never got on. And the idea of what he used to be like when they went out originally, like when they started out, he was romantic, he would sing, she was enough for him. Like, he could write vows just on her alone, but now he's rich, secure, comforted, and he's bigoted, and he's just ingrained in where he is in life. And this movie really is a coming-of-age story for Bernie Mac.
And you watch him behave here, where they're standing out in the front porch, and you look at that of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. If that was the era, and you were standing on your porch with someone of different skin, your neighbours would look at you weird.
Exactly.
And that's what you're seeing here with Percy when he's standing with Percy Jones.
Percy Jones. I don't know who Percy Jones is, but Percy Jones.
Percy Jones when he's standing out on the front.
There's a bit, I think it's coming up soon, where Percy Jones says bullshit. Do you guys remember how he says it? I hope the subtitles that we have, because we watch this without sound with subtitles on, hope it matches. But there's a bit where he goes like, instead what we would say is like, he's supposed to be like, bullshit, but he goes, bullshit. And I'm just like, whoa, Percy, for someone who's so rich and mannerly, that was quite, out of character context. But it's like...
Wait, who's Percy?
Percy Jones.
Percy Jones. Oh,
Percy Jones, he goes, whoa, shit. And I'm just like, whoa, Percy Jones.
Did you guys find Ashton Kutcher's, I didn't know you guys were black line funny?
I found most of Ashton Kutcher's lines awkwardly funny. Such as, hi, I'm not Ashton Kutcher, I'm, what was it?
Simon Green. Simon Green.
Why didn't they name him Simon White? I mean, come on.
It would have been more appropriate.
Because he's being treated as if his skin colour is something weird. So
now this is the movie where you need Seth Green to be the main character.
Maybe he is Seth Green's brother. Maybe this is like based in real life and he's Seth Green's brother.
It's like being John Malkovich.
They were
it's like being Seth Green's brother.
He wasn't a main character, but Seth Green was in a few episodes of that family show.
Oh, yeah, he was. So... Ashton Kutcher's, he's very, I think he's very underrated in this movie. I think it's one of these roles in which
it's a role.
It's hard to play awkward and still be charismatic and likable. And I think people need to give credit to him because he carries off this sense of tension, this sense of worry throughout the whole movie, whilst still being an engaging character, whilst, still being one that we root for. Sometimes these kind of characters, including Meet the Parents, you know, you get a little bit sick of their indecision, you know, like with Meet the Parents, say, which is easy, and a lot of the reviews that I read compared the two. It's very easy for you to lose respect for the characters because in comedies, when you have an indecisive character, they make really, really dumb mistakes. Like in Meet the Parents, you know, he loses, the cats get lost and he buys another cat. In this movie, his mistake is that awkward "I'm not a racist" mistake thing whilst being racist. And that's something, unfortunately, is really more relatable than, oh, I bought another cat and dyed its tail black. Black, might I add.
This is a beautiful scene. This is a beautiful scene where he's obviously trying to get on side with Percy Jones, and he's just trying to see that he's a regular guy who's into something. And you know, I think we've all been there when you tell a white lie to someone, and then
a white lie,
a white lie, and you just get deeper and deeper and deeper into it until you sit there in the point of going, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Yeah. And this is the look you see on Ashton Kutcher's face, and the whole thing's expressed with Zoe Saldana just looking at him going, "What are you talking about?"
But she feels slightly betrayed as well, like she doesn't know this information.
Yeah, it's like, I never knew you were in NASCAR, and then eventually she sort of goes, "You're a moron. You're an absolute moron."
My dad loves NASCAR. It's like, what? It's a white people's sport. It's like, why didn't he choose
Drive a little
tennis?
fast and turn to the left.
Oh my God. So, Bartek, when you watched this movie,
Yep, yesterday.
what was you thought it was going to be the game? Guess who?
No, that was my initial thoughts when you said what the title was.
How long into the movie did you realize it wasn't Guess Who?
Oh, you know, the part where he's saying the sun will come out tomorrow. Yeah.
So
That's a Black Annie reference.
So you tell us something about your experience about watching this, Bartek. So you watched it by yourself, I imagine.
Yes.
Dude, you gotta watch these movies with your family because it is such an exhilarating experience watching these with family and friends and loved ones because, you know, you get such a
Ryan,
rip-roaring good time.
When I had half an hour left, I paused the movie and went out, grocery shopping with my mom.
Wait, you stopped the movie?
I had to.
Did you stop the movie, Rob?
No, I watched it straight through.
Real hero. Just saying. So...
Mentally, I might have stopped a few times, but
to catch up on the themes,
yeah,
and the deep meaning. So Bartek,
Yes.
when you watched this movie, what was one of the things that the movie has tried to tell us that really engaged with you? Like we've talked about race stuff and whatever, but is there anything, including that you felt this movie communicated strongly, or it just communicated effectively to you?
I really liked how Simon was trying very hard throughout the whole movie to, be himself, to get along with Bernie Mac's character.
Percy Jones.
Percy Jones.
Percy Jones.
I don't know who Bernie Mac is. I only know Percy Jones.
You called him Bernie Mac earlier, Ryan.
I was wrong then.
Yes. But it's good that you admitted it. Percy Jones would be happy.
So, yeah, go on, you were saying?
Yes, Simon's trying very hard throughout the whole movie, and there are a lot of times where, Percy Jones, it really feels like he's unfair towards him. Especially the scene much later on where both of their partners get upset with them and they're constantly belting out all these things that they did wrong that are making the partners upset. It's showing that even though I was on Simon's side for a lot of the movie, yeah, they both have a lot of faults, and like you said, it is a coming-of-age story for both of them. They both learn from each other. They have the whole thing about how their partners are their other halves, but also, in the idea of masculinity, they work together to find another half of masculinity that they need to be a proper partner.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I learned something, too, whilst you were talking. Something that really communicated across to me, and, I've never noticed this before. But Zoe Saldana has a very attractive back. I've never been attracted to backs before, but thanks, Zoe. You really awoke something in me. So Rob, yeah, you laughed up.
Yep.
It's serious though. Rob, you're a filmmaker, or at least you've studied film and you've worked in film. When you want to, have you ever created your own film?
I've worked with a team to produce some film, but nothing that's been solely my own imagination. Usually, because every time I try and create something, I write the start of something in my head that will be awesome, and then I change the idea halfway through and it's something else. So I'm very poor at finishing them, but I'm an ideas man.
This director, I've got the trivia up right here, and I needed to read this word for word from the IMDb trivia. But first, may I just say, I love how her sister is a lot like, she's a characterization of typical black jive women that you get in...
She's a little bit more ghetto than the rest of the family, I guess you might say. Whereas, Percy is a man, wearing a nice suit, and the family's a nice house, and she rolls in...
And she's like, I'm not a hoe.
With big earrings, with, the perm... we're not. It's not a stereotype, but like you're saying, she's a stereotype.
Yeah, she is.
Her actress's name, she's not K-Stew, but she is a K-Stew.
Wow, she's a K-Stew. So Bartek, I want you to read the trivia for the director's reasonings of why he made this movie. Rob, you haven't heard this?
I think I actually might have read this morning.
Okay.
I think it's the one. Yeah,
go on, Bartek. It is emotional stuff.
Listening people, brace yourselves for this. The director's reason for making the film? Quote, I have a 12-and-a-half-year-old daughter who's beautiful, and I'm sure she's going to come home one day with some Lithuanian, Samoan, punk rock drummer dude, and I thought if I did this movie, I'd be able to work out my issues before that day comes. 36 of 36 people found this interesting.
Well, look. As a Lithuanian Samoan punk rock drummer, I'm actually pretty upset by that comment. So
well, yeah. Here's what I love. This is an adaptation, loose one, on a cinematic classic, and I love. You can really imagine that this director
very loose,
very loose. He sat there and watched that movie, and he was like, I have problems with race too. This movie's inspired me. He's like, I'm gonna make it, but better. Because you always try to make films better than other films. I think that's
Female Ghostbusters.
Female Ghostbusters. You try to make better, bigger, better. And this guy was like, I got issues with Samoans apparently, and Lithuanians because everyone has problems with Lithuanians.
From Lithuania.
And punk rock.
What's your cultural heritage, Rob?
My cultural heritage is, quite boring in my opinion. Both sides of my family came to Australia in the 1850s. One from England, one from Scotland. So it's I find myself to be quite dull. Other people say that's quite interesting, but I have no interest. I have a few interesting stories in my family, but nothing
we all
directly
do.
related to me.
So it's kind of awkward that we're doing a movie about racism, and we're both Polish, and you're not.
What are you trying
Kind
to say?
of. Guess who's coming to the podcast? That's all I'm saying. Like, we haven't had a Polish guest on yet, so maybe one day.
You pointed out how this movie is the opposite of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner because it's the reverse the races of the blacks and the whites.
It flips it, yeah.
It also reversed the careers of the main character because my understanding of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which I haven't seen, is that the black man is a really well-to-do
he's really
Swiss
smart.
Doctor.
Yes.
And in this
Sidney
movie,
Poitier,
and in this movie they keep pointing out how the main character is this
really well
awkward white guy who's recently unemployed.
Yeah, but the impression is he's a rising star. He's really got a good head on his shoulders. He's really business savvy, blah, blah, blah. And why he's unemployed, which we do find out, is he takes honor and his moral values over everything else.
Yes.
What are you laughing at, morals, or just the black sister?
No,
black?
I'm laughing at this scene because this is a great sibling scene.
Oh, where she's crying, where she's like,
do you two have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Yeah, so
brother. It's
especially I have an older sister as well, and it is always a great thing when you're growing up, when the older sibling or everything else, when someone did something so dumb in the family that you can do anything. You can just sit there and go, yes, like they've broken that boundary for it. Like for me, my sister, when she became a teen, went out and paid, and went out and did things, and came home late at night. And she broke that boundary. So by the time I got to that age, it was normal, and that's a great scene where she sits there and goes,
"Please,
there's literally nothing worse you can do. Like you brought a white guy home.
I could burn the house down.
I'm gonna set the house on fire, and you know what? Percy Jones is gonna be like, I still love you." So,
I love how we all have our Percy Jones impersonation.
How can you not? I'll reservation for Percy Jones. Jones the Jade knows with a P.
Funny fact: this hotel owner, this receptionist here, she's in the movie White Chicks, another movie about race. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I would like to look up her career and see if she only stars in movies about racism.
So I suppose White Chicks is a
precursor.
Guess Who sorority boys crossover.
Guess who meets Mean Girls is watching.
I love Mean Girls. It's so underrated.
Also, she points out why
these guys.
She points out why all the hotels are booked. How did she describe it?
Oh, it's like some meeting or blah 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 of these guys. But I love he just knocks off his fez, and this old guy's like, "Oh, I'm so upset." But then he sees this woman, he's like, "Oh yay, ooh, ooh!" Like he's so happy. I like how Percy Jones denies that it's raining. Like he's that guy who would literally yell at thin air. Like it's like, take your thin air. Like he's just insanely stubborn.
If Ashton Kutcher would have said, "Yeah, you know what, it's not going to rain," do you think Percy Jones would have?
Yeah, he would have been like, "I know the weather. It's definitely going to rain." So here we go. We've been introduced to a ton of characters, but boy, Rob, there are more characters being introduced in this movie. I mean,
we haven't even seen Marcus yet.
We haven't even seen we haven't seen for a while. We haven't seen a lot of the family. We haven't seen the Samoan guy.
We haven't seen.
Do you find it interesting that the director had a problem with Samoan people, and then at the end of the movie, the other sister's dating a Samoan man?
Yeah,
it's like,
quite an islander-looking man.
Yeah.
And they made a point that they broke up.
They made a point that they broke up. It's like, oh yeah, I couldn't get on with Samoan, so I guess the director never let go of the Samoan anger.
This is a beautiful scene.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Lou Reed. Yeah.
This is a great scene where they're in the car and he just, there's so much tension there. And like, you've ever been on an awkward car ride and you just go, all right, let's just turn the radio on.
Yeah, and then it's the worst choice you could have made.
It's a song about black and white people.
Yeah,
I like to think the director had a very good laugh when he chose that song.
Yeah, he chose a few songs. Remember, they already had this one. They had Take a Walk on the Wild Side, in which the lyrics from Lou Reed and the colored girls go do 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 do.
And on the topic of Take a Walk on the Wild Side, what did Ashton Kutcher do earlier in this movie? He cross-dressed in lingerie.
Oh my god!
In that 70s show, there's a scene where he cross-dresses in lingerie and that song plays.
Interesting stuff that Lou Reed has played in things. That's interesting. It's good that they play his songs. I'm a big fan.
Take a Walk on the Wild Side is his cross-dressing.
Maybe that was the alternative title for this movie. Take a Walk on the Wild Side.
There is an alternative title.
Yeah, I know, The Dinner Party. Yeah. Fun fact, Rob and Bartek, you already know this. The budget for this film, they spent $100,000 on digital effects.
I wrote this down. This is one of the three things I wrote down because I read this morning and I got so upset by this. Okay, so this is from the trivia facts. An estimated cost of $100,000 was spent on digital effects to remove Ashton Kutcher's red Kabbalah bracelet in every scene that he appeared in. Now, when I first read this, like the first half of this film, all I've been doing is looking at any scene where you can see his hands because, like.
So funny.
I just think I'm like either A, the director is not paying attention, or B, Ashton Kutcher's a bit of a dick because someone's obviously going, can you take that off? He's like, no. Ashton Kutcher does not take off my red Kabbalah bracelet. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of money.
Here's the thing.
That's a lot of money.
$100,000. And
maybe he's got really shy wrists. He's like, I just want CGI wrists. I'm really shy about my wrists.
There's some really struggling independent artists out there who could really have used $100,000 for their film, and they gave it to Guess Who, and they're like, imagine the studio conversation. It's like, Spielberg, let's say he was doing, I can't remember what he was doing around the time, but it's like, say he needed some money for a crucial scene in War of the Worlds, and they're like, sorry, Spielberg, can't give it to you. It's like, why? I would give you the $100,000. We know you're reliable, but we spent it on digital.
Take his bracelets off.
Typical Kutcher.
Maybe.
And that's when he, like, Spielberg turns around and goes, yes, I knew from when he auditioned for Schindler's List that he was a bad egg.
I liked, there was a bit of time before he was in anything major, and I feel like the problem was because he couldn't get anyone to sign off on his bracelet clause, which was like, I'm sorry, I'm not partaking in Steve Jobs.
It's
unless
me
I can
or the bracelet?
Yeah, I'm like, the bracelet comes with me, all right?
It's a bracelet or nothing. Yeah. One movie, it's going to be called Dude, Where's My Bracelet? And it's just this movie and they're like looking for it. And fun fact. This movie spends a majority of time in the basement, just like that 70s show. Coincidence? I think so.
Here we have another scene where we're setting up, obviously a bit later on, and it's the vows of Percy Jones, because
Percy Jones's vows.
Already we know that it's the 25th wedding anniversary. We've met Percy Jones. We know how cold he can be, and here we're seeing that he obviously has a problem, sharing his emotions with people.
Yeah.
And this is a very good insight into that and into the mind of what is Percy Jones. And also those unbelievably awesome purple pajamas, which I'm so jealous of.
Yeah, they're kind of purpley blue, aren't they? I love Percy Jones. I just love him. Bernie Mac. Let's talk about Bernie. How do we feel about Bernie? Do we have any connection to him as he was as a performer? I'll go into myself first. I watched the Bernie Mac show, not a lot of it. I loved Bernie Mac in that show. He was really fun, energetic. He has a real kind of cynical nature about him, but he's a good guy deep down. Like, I felt like Bernie Mac would be a great guy to kind of hang out with. Stern but fair. And then I saw him in Old Dogs, which was technically one of his last his last film. It's arguable. And I've seen him in Soul Men with Samuel Jackson, which is also his last film as well. He's incredible. He was incredible, and it's a great loss that we don't have Bernie. What about you, Bartek? What's your relation with Bernie?
There's really not that much to say about it, because I only really know him as, Jimmy Lunchbox from Old Dogs.
Jimmy Lunchbox.
That was his character's name, guys.
I know, but his name. Go on. So Percy Jones and Jimmy Lunchbox on an adventure.
Yeah, so
twin brothers.
So Percy Lunchbox is really all I really know of Bernie Mac. But I gotta say, and Old Dogs, it's been a while, and he wasn't as major of a character as he is in this movie. In this movie, you really can't take your eyes off of him, because
and his giant scar near his eye. I couldn't take my eyes off of that and going, what happened there?
He's selling the whole movie really well.
Yeah, I believe he carries this movie on his shoulders really, really well. What about you, Rob? Do you have any kind of relation with Bernie?
Not really. My sister used to watch Charlie's Angels a lot when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, he was in the second one. He was in the second one as Bill Murray.
Yeah, he was awesome in it.
As Bill Murray.
He does a very good Bill Murray. But that was I never really watched the Bernie Mac show. I'm trying to think what other films I've seen him in, but I don't really recall many major films. This is the most screen time I've given Bernie Mac. And now that I've watched this, I'm probably going to go back and watch some of his other films.
And are we all heartbroken that he died? He did die, rather unfortunately. Like, it was just out of the blue. No one expected it.
It was one of the reasons why Old Dogs was delayed, which is why it's his last released film, even though you said Soul Men was the last one.
Yeah, I think there was a thing about it. But yeah, this movie is a great testament to the comedic genius of Bernie Mac. I think we sorely missed.
Comedic and dramatic.
Oh yeah, I honestly think that Bernie Mac could have been like Eddie Murphy in the ways of being able to do dramatic and comedy at the same time. I felt like, maybe I haven't seen enough of Bernie's work, but I felt like he could have gone on to do Oscar contending work. I really do genuinely believe that. Even as a comedic role in a serious film, it doesn't matter. I think Bernie really had the talent and the charisma and the chops to be a genuinely serious A-grade actor, but we'll never get that. I love how he hits his head on that and you think that's going to be set up for something, but it never goes anywhere. I actually wrote that in my notes. I'm like, oh, he hit his own head on that light thing. Maybe that's going to be set up later. No. They just left that outtake in. Like, it's like, whoops. Left that one in there. So she's the mum. We haven't talked about the mum. She seems really cool.
What's her name again?
The mum.
The mum. She is pretty cool. She's
Mummy Warbucks.
Yeah.
She's very much the
heart and soul.
The foil to Percy Jones.
Percy Jones. Is her name...
She's the better half.
Is her name Percy Jones too? I don't know. It could just be...
Better half. That's a better word than foil.
Marilyn. Her name's Marilyn.
Marilyn Jones.
Wasn't that the sprinter? No.
Yeah.
Simon mentions earlier that he's better with mums, and it helps a lot that this mum is really cool with him. Yeah. She's very much of... what's his partner's name?
Zoe Saldana? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Zoe Saldana. She's very much of Zoe Saldana's thought process of it doesn't matter that he's white, really.
Yeah, but it does. in their world. I will comment on this. The casting for the family is very well done, and I think the acting really pulls it off. Like, you get this sense of family, but they actually do really genuinely kind of look like one another. Like, you know, Zoe Saldana shares a lot of the same kind of facial features as the mum, and the sister has the same kind of darker skin tone as Bernie. I think they really did well with the casting. I think in movies like this, where they do cast families and whatever, it's sometimes really easy just to be like, they're good actors. It's like, and you go, they don't look like each other. But this film, I really
they're a
think they
very
did
believable
well.
family.
Yeah. Oh, his back is hurt.
I
thought this was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Reggie comes in. There he is, the hero, and he just sees his boss with a massager, and he's like,
and now we're back into another one of
classic
Percy's homoerotic scenes with his friends, because
another
look, because we didn't touch on it earlier when they were sleeping in the bed together, and look, we'll come back to it because they definitely get back in that bed again together.
Yeah, because we were profoundly
this whole scene. This whole scene is like they make jokes about being gay, accidentally.
Yeah,
and it's like so homophobic.
And Percy is so strong and, you know, very conservative. And then you get these moments where he's
like, massage me.
Yeah.
He's a cuddler.
And I love,
he's a cuddler.
He is a cuddler. And I love this story about Jamal. Jamal, the guy who's friends with Mrs. King, Dr. Crosby, and Reverend Jackson.
I love it. He's like, oh man, hook me up. And then he's like, Reggie's like, hook me up, man. I love the Cosbys. And then he's like, oh, Jamal better not find out about this white boy. And it's like, poor Jamal. He doesn't even exist. My daughter's... Oh, the Great Black Hope is the daughter dating. Yeah. I love this movie so much. It hurts. Could this be the best movie ever made? Probably. Definitely.
With the look on Reggie's face, I think it probably is.
So... I don't know what Ashton Kutcher's doing. There's lots of times in this movie where Bernie Mac looks genuinely annoyed by Ashton Kutcher. And I wonder if that was genuinely talented acting or genuine feelings on the actor's parts, because I feel like I would not like Ashton Kutcher because he refused to take off his fucking bracelet. I mean, $100,000.
Well, again, we don't know if that was just something they overlooked or if he was being a dick about it.
I think they overlooked it.
No, it's in the clause. No, it's in his contract.
I need my bracelet, dang it. No, this movie... $100,000. Now, did you hear Ashton Kutcher's actually a very talented actor, though? Because in the trivia, he suggested that that's a guy from Numbers, by the way. You would think that he came up with a great idea that his character be Jewish, so it's not just a race thing, but an interfaith conflict as well. But the director didn't have those problems to work out, so he didn't do them.
No.
But you know what? The director... He's, no offense, but this film is, it has racist moments on purpose. But it has these homophobic moments, too, that we do get. And I wonder, did the director just go, I don't have any homophobic problems that I want to work out. It's just in there.
It just comes out in his directing. This is it.
Yeah, it's played off for humor, which can be very awkward in normal things, wouldn't you say, guys? But this movie, they're just like, yeah, it's a funny thing. So it's like, yeah, we could tick it off. Bernie Mac, how would you feel, Rob, if you turned around and Bernie Mac was just standing there
behind me?
Yeah,
I'd be quite scared. He's a menacing man.
Okay, how about if I rephrase the question? How would you feel if you turned around and Percy Jones was standing behind you?
That'd be cool.
I'd be pretty stunned.
And he's giving you the stare?
The stare, where his eyes look like they're coming out of his head. Yeah, I'd be pretty scared.
To be fair,
piercing stare.
For most of that phone call, he was just sitting there looking at him.
Yeah, like what was going through his mind as an actor? I wonder. Where it's like,
what could he possibly want? Why is he coming to my work? Or,
I gotta play. What was his character's name in Old Dogs?
Jimmy Lunchbox.
I gotta play Jimmy Lunchbox at 6. Come on, Ashton.
Well, that was like 4 years after this.
I gotta play it at 4. Come on, Ashton. So, Rob, you know how movies sometimes are based in reality? Mm-hmm. Would you say this movie is based in reality?
Definitely.
Yeah, as do I.
Definitely.
As do I, because when I have a conflict with Bartek about whether or not he's a NASCAR driver, I settle it by going to a go-kart track and trying to kill him.
You're leading to one of my favourite bits where it's just, how can we settle this argument? Go-karts. That's
It's the only
Because
it's the only way I like family matters. Like if me and my mum have an argument, it's like, well, off to the go-kart track we go.
Well, with this movie,
I'm not washing the dishes. Go-kart it is.
It's
Let's
a
go.
precedent that your older siblings set. There's
Yeah.
like whenever they had an argument with mum and dad, they went go-karting, and now it's just a family tradition.
I suppose with this movie, because they're doing it to settle the whole NASCAR issue that they're still talking about. And NASCAR, I don't think
about
is
driving.
something that you can necessarily just casually say, let's go NASCARing or something.
Yeah, but I will be honest. He's rich enough to buy or rent a car. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't he actually go to like a proper racetrack thing? What, they don't have him in Jersey? Also, the fact that everyone in everything in media hates New Jersey. I don't know what's wrong with New Jersey, but it's like there's always a joke about, ugh, New Jersey. It's like it's the worst.
Well, Jersey's a city just out. Well, obviously it's in New Jersey State, but it's just outside of New York City.
And they're just like, oh, it's the worst.
You know, it's
Seems
your geographical equivalent of Melbourne to Geelong. Obviously, they're both 20 times bigger.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of thing where they're not too far away from each other, and it's that kind of stigma of, well, we're better here, and everyone down there is a little bit funny.
Yeah.
It's nice that we have another movie with go-karting, though.
Yeah, hey, here's something. Even if you are a qualified NASCAR driver, would go-karting be simple? Because I think go-karting and NASCARs have quite a difference to them.
Yeah.
Such as the steering wheels are like
they may as
little,
well-
and they jerk, and when you jerk right, you really jerk right in a go-kart. I feel like there is some kind of measurement of difference between the two.
They could have just gone and played Crash Team Racing on
So,
go-kart.
could you...
Just the face of Bernie Mac in that car. Oh,
Who? Oh,
sorry,
Percy
Percy Jones. Sorry.
Here's something. Now, when you're making that face, I just wanted to hear Rob's homoerotic theory more. Because I'm really cliffhanging on this homoeroticism as
We
well.
have plenty of time.
Oh, well, but it's the underlying subtext where Simon Green enters his world and he's jealous that his daughter has brought home a hottie, and it starts subtle, like he's very in denial about it, which is why he wants him out of his house. But then they bond, they share a night together, they cuddle, they go karting, like. You know, this is a first date. This is a first date. He's like, well, I like you. I'm going to take you go-karting. And if I don't kill you, then maybe this can happen.
Yeah, and then I'm going to ram you from behind.
Yeah,
my go-kart.
Pretty much. And, you know, you can already see that's there with Reggie, and then is it Dante, the guy?
Yeah, Dante. Everyone's favourite character.
Everyone's my favourite character. And this is great. Like, what kind of go-karting cast just has a hedge instead of, you know,
a fence?
a safety barrier?
Simple fence.
Well, and they did have barriers earlier.
Yeah, they did have barriers
But like the one part where you're going straight.
Yeah,
like,
they're just like, nah.
I think they'd be liable to sue, but they get a ticket for it.
Yeah, they get just a plain old ticket. And the police, I do love third contender for favourite after Dante. Like, it goes Marcus, Dante, and then this police officer.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, sometimes in movies and shows, you see a character and you wonder what their movie, like, you feel like they're in a different movie. I feel like Marcus and this police officer are in the same movie that's just outside of this one. So the police officer is just like, he looks over and he's just like, what did you do? And I just imagine his movie's like this intense crime drama. And Marcus is just like
his life.
And Marcus is like his friend who works at the papers, and he's like, it's like Zodiac, but with Marcus and this police officer instead of Jake Gyllenhaal and Rob Downey Jr.
Like, I've always loved the two valets from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They just have the smallest part in the film, but they steal it.
They have their own movie.
Yeah, they steal it. They have their own movie.
I love. There's also like a valet in this movie as well that could have his own movie.
So this scene right here,
the infamous scene.
It's Roger Ebert's favorite scene from this movie. He
Fuck
gave this
Roger
movie,
Ebert. He didn't like Sorority Boys.
He didn't, but he gave this one 3 out of 4 stars.
Roger Ebert, the critically acclaimed critic, gave this 3 out of 4. So this is the one that 5's old school. Right?
Four's where it's
I give
at.
Fight Club 5 out of 7. So this movie's trailers really advertise this dinner scene. Like this is the pinnacle scene. I think we can all be honest. This scene is what if we did like a film class and you needed to do a scene this would be the scene you're right about for this movie.
Absolutely.
This sums up everything about movie. The character dynamics, the relationships, the meanings, theme.
It's very well filmed. It's quick, and because you've got a lot of characters at a table, and
funny.
you're moving around, you're cutting between them, and you've got to be able to show the relationships between shots, because you've got Simon and Zoe Saldana's character, who I keep forgetting her name, so I'm just going to keep calling her Zoe Saldana. Teresa. You get them together, you get the shots of him, Percy Jones by himself, you get the family together, and they really set it up as going... almost like there's sides, like there's teams versus each other in this moment of them together.
It's them versus us, it's us versus them. And what I love about this scene is it really walks that tightrope of suspense and tension. Lots of tension. Tension very similar to David Fincher's work in the movie Seven. And comedy. It's really hard to walk the line between... It's like this is very reminiscent, and I'm not saying that this got inspired by, but it could have been, by the funny how scene in Goodfellas with Joe Pesci, in which Ray Liotta is telling this joke, and he's like, "You're funny," and then it just becomes this really tense scene about like, how am I funny? How am I? This is this scene where this is like, tell us these jokes, huh? We'll find them, and they laugh, and they're like, "Ha, no more," until they wait for that one they all agree is, which might I add. It's hard because I'm not saying that it's appropriate that three white straight males talk about race issues between black and white people.
Oh no, we're definitely the right people for this. Yeah.
We're definitely the white people for this. And I did not find his joke that ended the laughter as offensive as some of the other jokes that he told. I found it like...
There was a couple... There was one that was very clever.
We'll
lead into it. It's very clever. But...
I think it builds and builds, and then that one's like... Yeah, I thought it was going to be like... I knew that it was building to the really offensive joke that will break them. You could tell that was filmmaking. But I was like, wait, that's the joke? I thought it was going to be like one where he actually says like the N-word or something. But no. Is he used in this movie?
No,
I don't think it is.
The N-word?
For a movie where obviously race is such a big issue, they don't do it. And look, it's because it's a family film.
Yeah,
that's it. Like,
but it's also trying to be Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is the kind of film that you can still take. I'm not going to say like a small child, but you could still take like a teenager to go see.
Oh yeah, teens love Bernie Mac.
It's funny. That's what the kids are into these days. I'm up on pop culture.
Put that in the poster, Johnny. Yeah. Teens love Bernie Mac.
All those kids on Tumblr, they're all over Bernie Mac.
No, you know Bernie Mac's more of a Reddit guy.
Definitely. Ryan, it's funny, when you were talking about this scene, you mentioned the word tightrope. Roger Ebert also used that
well, it's clear that Roger Ebert was inspired by me in the past.
Yes, he was. He was talking about how this movie really tries to walk the tightrope of, the racist kind of humor and how it's perceived and all that kind of stuff. And he felt like the movie, as much as he did I think he gave a thumbs up.
Yeah, a thumbs up as well.
He said that he wished the movie did that a bit
this
more.
This is it, isn't it?
This is the joke.
Watching the PCH.
Oh, the title was
the Tiger Woods joke. It's a very good joke.
Clever joke. It still holds up today, even though Tiger Woods is not as a nice guy as he is back then. Well, I thought I didn't mind the Adam and Eve one either. They were actually solid. They were solid jokes, and I just love how Ashton kind of gets into it. You feel like, hey, maybe Ashton Kutcher could be a good stand-up comedian because he has good timing. Maybe that's filmmaking. I just love how he's just joining in. It's like
even when he's doing the rib bit, I'm a bit like, come on, mate, stop.
Whoa, he's a rib fan. Don't try.
And Bernie Mac, he keeps Percy Jones keeps telling him to keep going.
The hoedowns. Actually, all of them are good. But I thought the first one about the Afro turf was the most effective. Okay, if you had to swap the Get a Job one and the Afro turf one, if you swap them around, I would be complaining less about them being like, oh, that's offensive. Because I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm not black. I thought the Afro turf one was more obviously offensive than this one about the jobs.
Oh.
But it's still awkward.
It is awkward.
All of them are awkward.
It is awkward. And it's already an awkward scene. I'm sure you've had this moment before in your life where you've had a significant person in your life invite you to their family's occasion. And people want to get to know you. And sitting down at a dinner table can already be an awkward moment because everything that comes out of your mouth is hinging on them going, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Or he's
not.
terrible.
Or he's insane. Or he's a bunch of things. And the fact that you've already got this overlaying,
Hee hee ha ha.
you know, racism issue makes it just more awkward and awkward and awkward.
Well, you could say this whole podcast is just us sitting here at the dinner table with you, the audience, judging. Are they making fair comments? Probably. I love how she's looking at him like, you're an idiot. It's like, well, you joined in, you
She
helped.
was laughing.
You motivated him, and now after this, they try and have sex in the kitchen here. And I thought Percy Jones, Percy Mac was going to walk in and be like, I'm Percy Jones, you know, I can see everywhere. Remember that when he's like, Percy Jones can see everything? It's like, wouldn't it be weird if it was like Meet the Parents where he does have cameras all over the house? And like, why does he? He's like, well, I work for the bank. It's like, I can afford it. Not like he's an FBI CIA agent. It would be great if these two if Guess Who and Meet the Parents were in the same universe, and like Percy Jones has to take out a loan for Ben Stiller.
They're neighbours.
So this movie doesn't rely on puns like Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers. I mean, really, Meet the Fockers? Come on. But so this is just
Meet the Fuckers.
Oh, you got it after 10 years.
Those little fuckers.
Oh, come on. Now it turns into a hardcore porno with Zoe Saldana and Ashton Kutcher. Who knew? Guess Who's Coming?
His dick is very big.
That's the porn version of
And
this.
apparently his dick is very big.
Guess Who's... Guess.
Yeah, that's
Look, when I downloaded a copy of this, my girlfriend walked up to me. I was doing something else and it was on her computer and she goes, Guess Who finished? And I'm like, who? I don't know. Who finished? And she's like, no, Guess Who finished? And I'm like, who? What did they do? I'm so confused. And it's so confusing because this movie doesn't even have a question mark. So it's more of a statement. Like, guess who?
Guess
what?
What are we
To
guessing?
be fair, Guess Who is kind of a statement thing.
But it's a question as well. Like, guess who?
It's a demand, kind of, isn't it?
Guess who?
Guess who could... this could be a horror film called Guess Who, and this is someone who goes around killing people, and before they do, they say, Guess who? It's Percy Jones. And then they kill you.
Before they kill you, they have their hands over their faces like, where is he? Guess who? And it's like, oh my god, it's Bernie Mac, no! And he's like, stabs you. And then it's like a game, and he leaves, in the game, Guess Who, the little chips that you have, he just leaves those on the eyes of the victims with like a little red crosses on them, and he's like, they look like the person he's killed.
Have you ever seen the image it was an edit of a person playing Guess Who with Samuel L. Jackson, and he's asking, does he look like a bitch?
Oh, yeah. My favorite one is there's this comedy sketch group, and they have Guess Jew, in which they're guessing Jewish people, and he's like, were you in the 1980s, 90s film? Were you in the 1980s and 90s? Were you in The Fly? It's like, yeah. It's like, were you in Jurassic Park? It's like, yeah. Are you Jeff Goldblum? It's like, you know it. And it's like, guess Jew. And it's like all these other Jewish games. Like, they're like circumcision instead of operation. But the best one was just, they're doing all these themes like Messiah Trap. But the best one is just Monopoly. And just move on like it's not different. Calm down, Bartek. It's okay, we're Polish. We can say these things. I don't know why. So this thing, the Tango, we haven't talked about the Tango.
Oh yeah, the Tango's a thing in this movie.
The Tango, they build it up.
It represents something that she's interested in that Percy Jones couldn't give a rat's ass about.
Yeah, it is another sign of his...
It's a representation of him lacking that human side to him, lacking that feminine in him that...
he needs more femininity other than cuddles.
That's what he needs, and this is that representation of that, where she's got this desire and this lust for something, and this is what represents their marriage, because
it's a tango.
It is a tango, and
it's a structured dance.
It is, and they've been doing very good at it, and then it's hit this point now where
he doesn't snap.
No, he doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't give her the snap that kind of gives her an orgasm.
And that's a great Percy Jones line. Look here, woman, let's do this another time.
He says, look here. He calls them woman a lot, and I don't know if it's
Yeah.
like okay.
We haven't even. So we've been talking about racism and homosexuality. We haven't even touched on the sexism in this film.
There's a bit where it's like, I earn the money, woman, and I'm like, holy shit.
Ryan, what year was Sorority Boys again?
I think it was like 2003.
Oh, so this is after
Sexism
sexism ended
ended.
forever.
So here they are in the bed. How do you feel about that, Rob? Turned on?
Yeah.
You were
yeah.
hoping that the fishing hook would get him in an erotic area?
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, I don't know. I would feel really uncomfortable having Percy Jones spoon me.
Would you?
I'd
He's a tender hugger.
Yeah. I mean, I'd feel
I
uncomfortable.
feel weird
with-
if Ashton Kutcher was spooning Bernie.
I'd feel really uncomfortable, but then at the same time, I'd kind of feel like protected. Like nothing
Yeah,
bad
that's
will
how he-
happen
that's
to
how
you.
he
Nothing
feels.
bad will happen to you when Percy Jones.
That's how he
looking after you.
feels.
It was established that they both move around in their sleep a lot, but Bernie... sorry, I'm so sorry. Percy Jones.
Or
Because-
Bernie Jones.
Because he's the more dominant of the two.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's the one that can fall asleep comfortably, and therefore he gets the ability to move around in his sleep, whereas Ashton Kutcher, he can't fall asleep, so he can't do all the weird stuff.
I will be honest. Zoe Saldana is one of those actresses that I do respect because she's worked hard. If you look at her IMDb list to troll through that, she has worked really hard. She's been in a lot of terrible movies. She's been in a lot of great movies and a whole huge ton of
She's in
unappreciated masterpieces. Avatar.
As an Avatar person.
Yeah, but it's still important. And she's been in lots and lots of things. She's really worked hard to get where she is now. And it's kind of surprising she was an Avatar. But I really think, to be honest, in my personal opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy is really what pushed her into the public eye. Like, people are like, yeah, Zoe Saldana. Maybe I'm wrong. That's where I kind of went, yeah, I noticed her. And, I think she deserves it. She's worked hard. Like, people like Ashton Kutcher and even Bernie Mac haven't worked as hard as Zoe Saldana has to get where they were at. They did one or two big things, or they were really good at a certain field, like Bernie Mac's stand-up comedian, and then he's got into films. Ashton Kutcher just did 70s Show, and then he's gone on. But she was in Pirates of the Caribbean, for Christ's sake. Like, did you know, you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, everyone, yeah? Mm-hmm. In the second Pirates of the Caribbean, spoiler, at the end, Barbossa returns. They're running to their graves. They're running to the fort.
Running into their car.
They're running into the fort, remember?
Getting ready for war, man.
Oh, that's right.
So, in the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Barbossa, Jeffrey Rush returns. Originally in the script, and according to the actors, they were expecting Zoe Saldana to be the one, where it rocks up and it's her, and they're like, oh my god, she was going to be this big character, but then they cut her out for Jeffrey Rush. See, she's worked hard, and I think this is the real shining piece of her work. She gives so many emotions in this movie. Happiness, sexiness, joy. She's very horny in this movie, actually. Surprisingly, like 90% of the time she's just trying to get sex. Which is, I respect that. Because, Zoe wanting to get sex, good for her.
And in the scene... where...
Great for her.
In the scene that I think you described earlier as a bitch party, was it?
Yes, that's in the film later.
In that scene, she's very much trying to oppose what they're saying at times. Like, she wants to talk to Simon about the whole relationship.
Yeah,
problem.
but then she's shut down by
a lot by them.
Matriarch.
Who, as we know from Marcus being a fantastic character, they're in the wrong.
Marcus is the best character in cinema. I want his movie where he's a gruff, stern, lovable doctor who's found the cure for cancer, but he's woken up late at night by his wife having a bitch party, and they have a domestic dispute, and the movie is a back and forth, psychological mind game between man and woman, but he's trying to figure out how to cure cancer at the same time, whilst also trying to be a loving husband who has work tomorrow.
In his nightmares, there are, the bitch parties happening there. They're all laughing,
His
but they
nightmares.
transform into coughing patients,
And
it
he's
just haunts him. He associates the two, and it haunts him.
Marcus's dream is him spooning himself to sleep, and he's like, because somebody's got to love
That's
him.
beautiful.
Somebody's got to love him. So, Rob, you made a few notes. Have we heard all of your notes?
I think we've only heard 2.
We've only heard one.
Two of the 3 that I wrote down.
Once, twice, 3 times a lady.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the third one.
Well, the third one I've already kind of mentioned, and we have discussed it about how I was basically saying that is essentially Meet the Parents versus Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Okay.
And I don't know if the Meet the Parents thing, but it's that underwhelming presence of the two, the younger people just wanting to be together because, society won't let us do it, man. Society's going to stop us, and that's it. And this is the scene I don't like, because you feel like this is where it's all going to collapse, but then they start making out. And do you know what this film lacks? And this is where it should have happened.
Hardcore penetration. I agree.
Yes, this scene lacks a montage. This
you are wrong. They have many montages.
This movie lacks.
It needs to be more like Bend It Like Beckham, which
Yes.
had a count of like 30 million montages.
Basically is where I'm going with this.
It was like 22 montages. But this movie does have a couple of great montages. I mean, it has the getting ready for the ceremony montage.
I think that's the only one, but I felt like there should have been one there.
There's being
the
white
credits count?
montage. No.
I mean,
Is the go-karting a montage? Not really.
No.
Sorry, Dante's back. Dante's back. And look,
This scene in which take off your pants.
Yeah, Dante is meant to represent, the queer eye for the straight guy character.
He's metrosexual.
He's metrosexual. Is the early 2000s, I forget, he's metrosexual.
Yeah.
But for someone who's meant to be so up-to-date with fashion, what on earth is that man wearing? Are there spider webs on his jacket?
No.
Tell me those are not spider webs on his
They're
jacket.
not spider webs.
Oh my
There's- when it was
Who are these guys?
the renovators.
Oh, that's right.
And
they're preparing for the party.
And she's like, Percy, get some pants on. It's like, oh, give me a break, woman. And Dante's just like, they're not spider webs.
Two shakes of lips. What the hell that means?
They're actually Mercy, Percy. Good. Oh my god,
Ryan,
Mercy,
did
Percy.
you notice the color of the pants Dante's wearing? It's that purple.
Purple. Dante's the antagonist in this scene. It is true.
Well, Dante is
Oh
a
my
kind
God.
of
It's
nickname.
Reggie.
So Dante's Inferno, yeah. So
Oh, what's up, man?
Jamal, my man. Yeah, he sounds like Jamal, doesn't he? hey, it's me, Jamal. If I phoned you up, I'm like, hey man, it's me, Jamal. You're like, oh,
Are you
it's
thinking
classic
of
Jamal.
Jaleel White?
Yeah, Jamal. That's what his name is.
You made that kind of like a hey Jamal.
Because that's my whitest man voice I could think of right now.
Because it sounded like Jaleel White to me, who we haven't talked about since episode 1.
We've talked about him enough. He was bragging all about you, Jamal. Oh, Jamal.
Even he's wearing purple.
Nah, everyone's antagonistic. So, this is a movie with assholes. So, that's good, because life's like that. Look, I don't want to break the bubble here, but Bartek's an asshole, and Rob's an asshole, and I'm an asshole too. So, we just got to get to the facts. I like the fact that he's talking about the Cosbys, even though this is not a movie about the Cosbys. And now that we know what Bill Cosby, it's not cobwebs, by the way. It's a pattern of some sort.
Looks like cobwebs.
No, you're wrong. Cosby now, not a good thing. Bill Cosby, you don't want to meet him.
No.
He did the kids up the butts. Or whatever, I don't know. He did some finger banging at least. And that's awkward, Rob. How could you bring up that? I mean,
Purple flowers.
And she's wearing purple, and this is when she gets antagonistic towards him. Purple is not usually an antagonistic color. It usually means royalty.
So judging from this theory, Grimace is the most evil character ever invented.
Yeah,
Grimace from McDonald's as a child.
I don't know what the fuck Grimace even is. Is he like some tumor?
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what
okay,
you are,
good.
but like, what is he supposed to be? Oh, look at that guy with the white hat that walked past. Oh, I like how she's just like picking shreds of her hair out of her head while that was happening. I like, look at her face during this scene. Okay, it's so easy to look at these two, but look at her face. She's just like, how can I express my frustration? Mouth wide open, pick at my scalp. And now I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle, here's my spout. I mean, it's just the greatest thing ever. I like how she flips from one side to the other. It's like daddy issues, boyfriend issues. Daddy issues, boyfriend issues.
But this is our second, I don't know, tragedy of the film, or
The whole film's
the
a
issue.
tragedy, yeah.
And when you're doing a nice little narrative, you go, well, there's a problem, and then we got to solve it. And we kind of did like there was a brief period there. We kind of went. We feel like Percy Jones and Simon Green can work this out.
There's no problem.
We feel like this is going to work out, and this is when the next big issue happens, and we go there. And have you also noticed how they're obviously big fans of Quidditch, considering they've got these long poles with rings on them?
I noticed
in the background. When I first saw them, I was like, "Oh, it's a basketball ring." I was like, "But why is it up that way?"
So, Rob, we had an episode called The Wedding Date, in which we had a giant Harry Potter debate. Check that episode out, by the way. We had a giant debate about if Muggle is a derogatory term. Where do you stand on that?
Ooh, I don't know.
If I called you a Muggle, would you get offended?
And we're not
if you didn't know what it meant?
I do know what it means, but probably not.
Yeah, but
we're not,
Muggles
hold on.
don't know.
And we're not talking about that it sounds derogatory. Like,
I was!
Its definition.
It is a derogatory. It's a slur. It's a slur.
Ryan, I think I heard your girlfriend laughing.
It's a slur. Muggle's a slur. But enough about Muggles. Let's talk about
please.
race. I'm white. And so is Ashton Kutcher in this scene. Look how white he's being.
Race.
Is it about race? Or is it about a race?
It's kind of about neither.
There
is horse racing in it.
It's about family.
This movie's about
It
family.
actually is about family. It's about two brothers.
It's about Bernie Mac, who plays Percy Jones Sr.
And Jamal. 60 pounds of shrimp. Like,
That's a lot of shrimp.
Yeah.
So once again, we've got Bernie Mac.
You're gonna force me to use the muscle.
I hope you like seafood.
I'm sorry, I called him Bernie Mac again.
Yo,
Percy Jones he doesn't know what to do, so he's going back to his "I'm the man of the house" woman shtick.
See, nothing can bond two men together like not understanding women.
like dem bitches being cranks.
That's the yes. I think that's.
I understand women.
I think that's
dem
the
bitches being cranks.
the technical term you're looking for. But yes, but nothing can bond two men together by going. I don't get it. And this is the moment. This is the moment that Percy Jones has been waiting for. He said, "The girls are going out of the house.
She throws her phone, her flip phone.
It's just you and me, Simon and Dante. This is all I've ever wanted."
Look at Dante. He's really
Dante knows
them.
Dante knows what's up.
And look at him. He's like, yeah.
It's cufflinks.
No, those aren't cufflinks.
I know.
That was his Kabbalah bracelet. Don't worry about it.
They digitally edited it onto Dante.
Had to go somewhere, Ryan.
Had to go somewhere in the movie. Ashton would have quit.
It's like camouflaging with that pillow.
I'm really looking out for his wrists, and it's just like, is that it? Like,
I haven't really.
That's something there.
Yep, maybe they forgot to edit it out then. But like every scene he appears in, I really like the fact
I've been looking at it.
Oh, it's gone again.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Maybe they. Oh, it's not there now. Oh my god.
Wait, did they miss a shot?
Yeah. Oh my god. Because look, it's clearly not on his wrist now. Holy crap! This movie is 10 times. Look, it's not there. It was on that wrist. His Kabbalah.
You just got to look at this going. There's $5,000. There's $5,000.
Yeah, a lot of the time we ask this question, Rob, which is, I ask it a lot. Can you believe someone wrote this? But we don't have to ask that because we already got the director's mind and inspiration already known to us, which is, he wanted to get aside some of his bitter feelings towards race. He didn't want to be like this. And he also loved Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which most people do. I like how Bernie Mac's decision for ringing her is if the phone faces him.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah.
Spin the phone.
That's what he was doing. Didn't you figure that out?
No, I thought
Did you just think he really likes cheese boards? He's like, cheese boards.
No, I thought he was just doing something.
I love a cheese board.
I love, Darlene, how you doing? This is Percy Jones. Like, it's his sister-in-law. Like, she doesn't know. And she's like, I'm sorry. Now, who is this? Percy Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, Percy. Like, of course you knew who it was. But I love her. Now, we're getting closer.
Marcus's wife.
Look, she's kind of wearing like a Maroni-esque color because she's antagonistic too. Everyone's antagonistic except for...
It's Maroni Violet, yeah.
Yeah, except for Marcus, the true hero of the film, which we're getting... Rob, we're getting closer and closer to Marcus. Oh my god, we've built this up so much.
Yeah, I don't think it's this scene, but I think it's the next
it's soon,
one.
it's soon.
Yeah.
It is very soon. There's a lot of party girls in this one. This movie...
That stuff is going to get you drunk. Whatever she's got in that jug is going to be...
Well, yeah.
That's ethanol. That's red ethanol.
Did you know
that's
that
rock.
they
It's
do
raspberry
get
juice.
incredibly drunk in this? Look at the mum.
She's wasted.
She reminds me of Rosario Dawson, the actress, the mum in this specific scene.
She does remind me of Rosario Dawson. She could be Rosario Dawson.
That's a good thing to remember. Rosario Dawson.
Also, can I ask a question about...
How good would this movie be if Rosario Dawson was the auntie? And it's just like, Rosario Dawson. It kind of annoys me that the sister doesn't like, the auntie, the sister, doesn't look like the mum. Like, they don't look like their relatives either, which is like, they did such a good job before.
And see, here again, we can see how Teresa is different to all these other ladies. She's
Mother
different
Teresa,
to everyone here. Because, they're all telling her that, you don't talk to him, you gotta rough that. And she's from a different universe. She's in a different world where, you don't behave like this with other people.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why she's getting so upset when they're all going, And I'm going to stop here because, Ryan, I think you're about to introduce your favourite character.
Oh my god, is it going to come out? Please, Marcus.
Is it this scene?
He's going to come out soon. I'll keep going, Rob.
I feel like it's the next
you're
time.
in an emotional role. Oh, there you go, baby.
Yeah.
Wait,
no, here he is!
And he's wearing red. True Heroes colour. And I just love...
Yawned Ryan.
Oh my god.
He hasn't said anything yet.
He's-
They just noticed him.
Here we go.
I got
work
work in
in
the
the
morning.
morning.
Hello. It's like, yeah, classic Marcus.
Sorry,
Sorry, Marcus. I'm sorry, baby. I just love it. And she treats him like he's the best guy in the world. And I like how she offered him some.
You want to taste? No.
No, woman, I don't want no taste.
know my
And then-
history,
and
woman.
then I like, he recognizes, have more. Like, he's really sleepy. And he's like, here, have more. It's like, this is my house. And they're like,
And then he just
sorry,
drops off the
Marcus.
jug.
And they're like, oh, Marcus is so cute. Like, oh, holla holla, he's the greatest guy ever. Like, they are laughing at him. They're laughing about him. It's different. They're like, ha, Marcus is so cool. Like, that's what the laughter is about. They're not like, ha, Marcus is stupid or gone.
So-
it's a positive male character. We need more positive male characters in this movie.
If I could jump back just a little bit. In the scene where... Okay.
No.
So in this scene, they're gonna bond.
Go on.
There we go.
In the scene where Marilyn is driving Teresa to the...
Yeah, where she
To the
throws the
party.
flip phone out the
Yeah,
back.
she said, baby, if you're gonna answer that phone, it's gonna be your last.
She's gonna kill her.
Yeah, that's a oddly threatening thing to say, and Marilyn does say another weird thing later on, which we'll bring up. It's
Oh
during
my
the-
god, it's your favourite part of the movie.
It's the part that I had to rewind.
So, while we're here, do we... I'll leave Bartek's favourite part, but my favourite part of this movie is... I have two tiebreakers, Rob. Favourite part, Marcus. I love Marcus.
For me, it's Marcus. Yeah.
But another favourite part of this movie is the end credits in which they're narrating over the videos and he's just like... The mum gets the tango and he does like the snap, like he snaps it, like he goes, "What?" And you hear the sister just go, like Zoe Saldana's sister go, "Yo, ma, what's that face?" And she goes, "You know what kind of face that is." And you clearly know they're talking about like an orgasm face. And it's the most weird thing to say to your mum and her to reply with you.
Do you reckon that ending credits thing was improvised?
Oh, definitely.
It felt
well,
very
no,
improvised.
it's kind of hard because they did have set up and payoff jokes within that.
Yeah,
So
like
maybe they
them
improvised
sneaking
it
off.
several times.
And coming back to my best theory,
Oh,
this is
bonding.
This
Yes.
is
Rob's favorite moments is anytime these guys physically bond with one another. Is that right? Is that your favorite part of the film? Is when they physically bond, like they're about to dance?
Oh no, my favorite part of the film is when they go go-karting. But these, I've come here to present you a case, and this is my evidence to my case.
Just scenes.
These scenes are my evidence for my theory.
I love how
and I
Rob-
feel like the more I explain this, the more I can see you two going, yeah.
Oh no! As soon as you said it, I'm like, obviously.
That's-
Because like I didn't think about it. I
That's
thought
what-
they hate each other.
Rob, that's what we do on this show. We just learn through discussion.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I gotta say, you're one of the guys that have prepared the most. He has notes. He has a theory. Shit, dog. My notes are different. I write like one-word things to keep me in track of what's happening in the plot or questions. I'm like, in this scene, I
Food
wrote.
for thought. is
Yeah,
what
food
you
for
wrote.
thought. And I just like with this scene, I'm like, it's a structured dance. I like the fact that Ashton Kutcher, his character is a really troubled guy because
He's got moves.
He's got moves, but he was raised in a single parent environment in which he had to grow up. Like he had to grow up before he was ready.
He had no father figure.
He had no father figure. And there is that thing of like, you're not going to be like your father. It's like, oh, that's kind of hard to, you know.
It almost sounded like they were building up to Percy Jones was his father or something.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if, like, I had a son once. He was a white boy. Left him when he was 2. And it's just like, I had a dad once. He left me when I was 2.
But
His name was Percy Jones. And it's just like, different Percy Jones, different Percy Jones, Percy Jones.
I think there's a line at the train station where, like, it could have really just gone with, I'm your dad. Which is funny because that was the twist of freaking Tromeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm your dad. Like,
Son, I'm black.
It's like,
Hey.
what's that? There he goes, and he snaps him. It's like,
Yeah.
I still got it. And it's cool that Percy Jones,
That was real nice.
Percy
Jimmy
Jones
Lunchbox.
really does have the ability to articulate and dance, and he's a really good dancer. Like, you know, he wanted to do the hustle because that's what they're used to. Oh, Dante's wearing all white. He means he's virginal,
Yeah.
pure.
Unless this was made by a Japanese
Except for
person.
the little black parts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been changed. Trust me, he's wearing red underwear. So, you know, Dante. Everyone's favorite character is Marcus and Dante. Where's their movie with the
Don't
policeman?
try to play the metrosexual mind games on me.
Oh, the classic metrosexual mind games. That's Dante's movie, Metrosexual Mind Games, and it stars Russell Crowe.
The front cover can be
Russell-
Dante.
Russell Crowe's like his older, gruffer brother, and he's just like, you know, Russell Crowe's like, don't play those metrosexual mind games, and he's just like, all right, and then by the end of the movie,
Marcus features, definitely.
yeah, Marcus features in it, and so does the policeman, and Russell Crowe by the end of the movie opens up and gets his metrosexual side on. And that's the end of the film. Like, he's like, yeah, and he wears like a pink jacket. Like, it's like the movie. It's like leading up to him wearing
And then
his
he
pink
does
jacket.
then he does a body transformation. He becomes the Samoan.
Yeah. Oh my god. So
Purple box.
box. Zoe Saldana's purple box. That's creepy. Rob's just like in awe. We say a lot of things on this show, Rob. Like, don't feel worried if you're like, oh, can I swear? Of course you can.
I've been holding back from using profanities, but
Fucking cunt, come on. So, if you see Ashton Kutcher is in fact wearing kind of a lilac purple color in this scene, which he does become kind of antagonistic because he doesn't explain his true feelings across because Percy Jones stole his feelings.
Yeah.
And I like how they let that go. He's like, fine.
and here comes
Whatever.
the dog with his tail between his legs.
And of course, what's Zoe Saldana wearing? Same purple one as the other day. So it's going to be these two antagonistic people butting heads. But he's wearing a lighter color because technically he is in the right. Like, Ashton Kutcher hasn't done anything wrong, really. It's just been all blown out of proportions.
Yeah,
And
I
it's not like
suppose-
neither of them have done
I
anything
suppose
right.
the only thing that like he would really be on for would be the fact that he lied. I guess.
yeah,
Like, if
he
he
was a
promised
liar.
not to lie, and it's hard to, you know, not lie, but sometimes. But
It's hard not to be a liar, isn't it? It could be a lie, though. I married you, didn't I? He's
Although-
really good at trying to widow out, like, his vows. Like,
it's like you're not gonna go well. You're going into a bear's cave, and there's a lot of bears in there that are all gonna bite your head off. Unless
Yeah.
you tread very
ironically,
carefully.
not the one that most looks like a bear, Marcus.
with his mustache. Where's Marcus in the scene? He's at work, that's where. We've already established this.
Yes, but he's at the party later on. He gives a nice hug
Does he?
to his wife. Yeah.
And here he comes stealing the romantics bits.
Yeah, and you see Ashton Kutcher, not the character, Ashton Kutcher the man, go, shit, this isn't in the script. Like, shit. Are we going to cut? Nope, alright. Oh, God, I got to make up my own
What's
lines.
Percy Jones doing?
What's Percy? Like, it's no longer Bernie Mac, it's Percy Jones.
Yeah, but it comes back to that whole thing of he's not a wordsmith, so he takes things from other things, like that song with the "Baby Turn Around and Let Me See." Oh, what am I singing?
Bum, what was it, like 3 bum bums?
Bum,
Or
bum, bum.
bum,
Which when I heard that they were reciting the lyrics, I'm like, holy shit, I haven't thought of that song in forever.
I didn't know the song really.
Yeah,
gotta
I
be
didn't
honest.
even notice that he was doing a song, and then when he does it,
And then
I
his
was
friend's like, you know that's a song, right? I'm like, is it? I thought it was.
It plays
Look,
at
if
one
I was
point.
his wife, which I'm not, but if I was Mrs. Percy Jones, I wouldn't have known.
Well, the
I would
song
have been
was
impressed.
made around this time. Obviously,
Yeah,
because it exists, but yeah.
Obviously, I'm such an idiot.
You're a Kempsey boy.
I'm a Kemp's boy.
See, I find this next speech kind of painful.
I find most of Ashton Kutcher's dialogue painful.
This is
Why isn't he in The Disaster Artist as Denny?
this is the
It's not called the Disaster Artist anymore.
Why?
It's called the Masterpiece.
He's
now.
just digging. It's like he's just digging a hole, and everyone's okay with letting him do it.
Except for Percy, because he feels guilty. I mean, sorry, except for Percy Jones. Perce? He called him Perce. Like, yeah,
Perce.
Perce over there. It's like, don't call him out. I'm not a Perce, son. I'm more of a satchel. Like, that would be his reaction to this.
I like. Obviously, what he says first here is he starts singing. It doesn't work.
No,
out.
he mimics him. He's like, baby, I was wrong. It's like, oh no.
Okay, yeah, but after he does the
And he
song,
did a Percy
And Bertie
Jones.
gives him the like, do it.
Percy Jones.
Yeah,
He imitated Percy Jones. He didn't just go, baby, I was wrong. He goes, baby, I was wrong. A really thick accent.
I like how Teresa finally just says, "No, we have to talk in private. I don't care what they say. I'm taking him."
The mum's like, take your man, go outside.
Yeah,
It's
but
not like she didn't even have the guts. It's like the mum's got to be a mum and go, you do this outside.
Yeah, but I like how they finally made an exception to this whole "do it in front of everyone" rule. But
Wouldn't it be cool if one of the guests was Oprah? And she was herself? Like, wouldn't it be like,
Oprah would only be with Marcus.
and
but-
she's like,
so-
I'm here! And they're like, Oprah! And they never explain it, they never go back. It's like, Percy Jones would know Oprah. Bartek, you're saying?
that was basically it. I did like how they finally made an exception to the whole thing. Like, this guy clearly can't do it in front of us, critiquing, riffing him.
Yeah, or the camera. I imagine one of the critiques you could make for Ashton Kutcher is he's a great actor when people aren't watching. Have you seen the film Mystery Men with Ben Stiller? And there's the kid who can turn invisible only when people aren't looking. I feel like that's Ashton Kutcher's acting ability. It's like, I'm a good actor when you're not looking.
To be fair, even in Dickie Roberts' former child star, it did kind of imply that he was a really good actor. You just never really got to see it.
Who, Ashton Kutcher? Or
No,
David Spade?
Dickie Roberts.
Yeah, it is true. So Zoe Saldana is just not buying into what he's saying. And the problem is, he's not apologizing. He's making excuses for why it was right what he did.
Yeah, and we're not really getting that whole we're getting foreshadowing that he had quit for a reason. Like, I went through most of this movie thinking, oh, that job that he's being offered is just a better one.
No, I knew that he quit for something that wasn't just the job. There was a dispute between the two men. And I do admit the eggs really were on my face heavy for this when we do find out the twist of why. Because I thought it was something else. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really think about it, but I didn't think it was that. And then when it happened, I'm like, wow, of course. What else would it be?
Yeah,
I felt like a real eggs on my face kind of guy.
yeah. I guess the only thing that would have foreshadowed it is the understanding that this movie does touch upon race relations.
And now the engagement's off. So, roll creds.
that would be a very good way to end this film.
Just Ashton Kutcher's like, like, holy shit.
and then show
Hit by a truck.
and then show bloopers.
Like, really wacky bloopers.
Yeah, it's like
Roller skating on Grease.
I love how he's like, I'm in Jersey. Like, he's still upset about Jersey. Like, that's what he's upset about. And now she's going to be wearing a new outfit where she's no longer antagonistic. She's in white, I do believe, because it is, of course, appropriate. But white is death, isn't it?
In Asian cultures.
So, death.
It's more of a pink that I think she's wearing.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Ryan, earlier when Dante was wearing white, you said that meant he was pure. So you're kind of jumping back.
He's wearing white. That means he's the devil.
Well, Dante, I did say earlier, it's kind of like a devilic, demonic name, isn't it?
He has got a very like devilish goatee. So next time he appears, all right, that's my new theory. Dante is the devil. He's cooked up this whole
And his
thing.
wife's a hell beast from the pits of hell. His wife looks terrifying.
I think we're spoiling people who haven't watched this first time.
Screw it.
All right, we spoil it. Dante has a wife.
Yeah.
Well, he's the devil. Of course, he'd have a wife. So.
Of course. So
Even Ned Flanders had a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the devil too. I love that joke in The Simpsons of Mr. Burns. It's like, why is he here? He's just like, oh, Monty, you're the devil. Who told you? No, I wonder what happened to Bernie Mac's face. He's got this epic scar there. And, scars, they get the girls. And that's why Bernie, he had all the girls, I reckon, because they all got to that scar. Like, I know they're playing father-daughter here, but I'm pretty sure Zoe Saldana said that she was going to marry Bernie Mac. Probably. Maybe. I mean, it was either him or Johnny Depp, and which one are you going to choose? Obviously Bernie Mac.
Percy Jones, yeah.
Percy Jones. I mean, he's Percy Jones. I mean, what you going to do? Choose Percy Jones,
baby. That's a huge camera.
Here we've got a great father-daughter bonding moment.
Yeah,
where
she's crying.
He's trying to bridge that gap of age and also sex and give his thoughts on it.
Yeah, and he's trying to reconcile the idea that him and what was the guy's name?
Simon Green.
Simon Garfunkel, could actually get along, because he's realized at this point they do actually kind of get along. They actually get on fine. Simon's really helped him out.
Yeah, like I said, the other half of masculinity between the two of them.
They're whole. Yeah, that's the whole thing about this movie. It's all about holes and...
But specifically between the two of them, it's the
glory
topic of
holes
masculinity.
and everything. Rob's just like, it is about glory holes, right?
So I'm just staring at Zoe Saldana.
It's hard not to. I mean, she's even sexy when she's blubbery. And that's a tick. Like, can you be sexy while you blubber? Tick, tick, tick.
Ryan wants to know how women look when they cry for future reference.
So if I meet you and you're a woman, prepare to cry.
It's just research purposes.
To know whether he should make you cry or not.
To know whether I can make you cry, yeah. And my answer is most likely yes. I could probably make you cry. I've made Rob cry. I told him we were doing Guess Who, and he cried with joy. The exact phrase Rob used was, "Oh, that sounds rough," and you learned that it wasn't a rough experience. It was quite smooth like a baby's bottom.
It's been pretty good. I really actually quite enjoyed this film. Like, there was look.
Buy it on DVD.
No.
What?
So here he has a realization.
Yeah.
That Zoe Saldana is hot? Yeah, we all realise that.
When you first watched this, do you know what his realization was?
No, but I knew he knew. Oh wait, here he is, the devil himself.
Here we go.
And he's got one of those earpieces in, so he's talking.
The
to
reaction on Percy Jones's face here is all time. This is an all time reaction.
It is great. And he's just like, I'm sorry, Percy. Have you met my wife, Diane?
Damn!
Damn! I'm saying that about you, Percy Jones.
But look at him, and then look at that goatee. He's the devil.
He's clearly Satan.
He's the devil, and she's one of Satan's angels? Hell's angels? I don't know.
Yeah,
did you notice that her name also has 5 letters, begins with a D and ends with an E?
Is it cool?
Dun, dun, dun.
And they both have A's.
Dante.
Look, he never denied that he's the devil, so
yeah,
he
that
obviously
means,
is.
I mean,
They merge together and they become Diante.
With that logic, Zoe Saldana's the devil. I mean, she never denied it. So clearly, everyone in this movie is evil.
We're all the people with fezzes.
Except for Marcus. Wouldn't it be great if they turned up at the wedding? I mean,
that's why we're here.
At the ceremony, like, we're here for Percy Jones. I loved how
I like that of him going to the wedding, still dressed the way that he was at his house earlier.
I like thinking about that scene at the reception where they had Percy Jones's name wrong. Like, they had it with a P or something.
Here we go.
Dun, dun, and he's like, Lion King's on. Like, that's what he pays attention to. Bernie Mac looks and he goes, hey, there's that white boy. But hey, look, Lion King's on.
See, if this was the film that I made, and this where he goes, I love you, boy. Percy Jones loves you. You're coming back home with me.
If you had to cast this movie
again
with new actors, obviously
you did
Percy. Yeah, if you had to cast this movie, no, like, fuck you. If you had to cast it, who would you cast in there? In what roles?
So we're doing it. All right. So it was
new, completely new.
Start shooting tomorrow. Okay.
Yep.
So, that's a good question.
Bill Cosby as Percy.
No, get it right.
Are we still? Like, do I still have to cast a black guy? Okay.
Or you could cast someone. Okay, I'll go first just so you can feel good. I'm gonna cast Miles Teller. I'm gonna cast Miles Teller as Simon.
Yeah.
And J.K. Simmons as Percy Jones, but in blackface.
Michael Cera as Percy Jones.
He's like, I'm Percy Jones.
I'm Percy Jones, bitch.
Come on, Rob, who would you cast seriously?
All right, so Percy Jones is being played by Don Cheadle.
The most least threatening black man in Hollywood you could have chosen.
Yeah. And Simon Green is played by Will Smith playing a white guy.
Oh my god.
Oh no, did you listen to our Scooby-Doo 2 episode?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Now, for the listeners out there, there was a Scooby-Doo 2 episode where one of the questions was, who played this character? And the correct answer was Seth Green. But one of the answers was like Keanu Reeves, and another one was like
Robin Williams,
and then one of the answers was Will Smith. I lost my shit because I'm like, he's black and cool, and now you've opened up that nest
without knowing about it.
Oh my lord! And you're lucky. You should be lucky to have you, bro.
And I'm trying to think of the girl who I want to play Zoe Saldana, but I can't remember her name.
Clearly, you want Iggy Azalea in her first acting role. She thinks she's black. Kat Dennings.
No. Iggy Azalea can play the sister.
What if we just make
Igloo Australia here to the rescue?
What if we make Guess Who's Coming to Dinner a remake, but just have everyone be white?
just some really obnoxious person comes to dinner. Guess who's coming to dinner? I can't.
Guess who's coming to dinner with
Jerry
Vince
Lewis.
Vaughn. With Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn's the obnoxious guest, and the father-in-law figure is Jerry Lewis. Yeah, and he's
I was
like,
thinking Jerry Lewis is the boyfriend.
no, he's the dad figure, and he's like, oh jeez, just this old Jerry Lewis kind of thing, like, oh jeez.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, okay, Bartek. This is Bartek's favorite moment.
It's
Bartek,
not my favorite, but it's something that made me rewind the film.
it's clearly your favorite. You talked nothing about it before you came here
because
today,
it
Rob.
was interesting, and I only wished I loved it as much as I did back then, but I don't, because as we know,
Bump.
here
Pause.
it comes. I love him more. She wishes she loved him less.
And he's not the wordsmith. I like how his speech, his one's the best, where he's basically like, everyone knows I didn't write my vows, just like being honest, and he's just basically like, woman, you love me, and he just goes on about like how he loves numbers. That's his speech. Now look here, woman, I love you.
There's nothing like a good speech in front of family and friends where you just shame a member of your family.
And then it becomes a musical.
I've been to a lot of weddings in my family, and every good speech starts with someone tagging shit on someone else, like he has here.
Yeah. Damn it, I do money.
He had a line much earlier in the film where he said, "Why'd I got to do the wedding vows again? What was wrong with the first time?" That's really his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's no repetition guy, but you didn't know this was a musical, did you, Rob? And Marcus is like,
see, this isn't a montage though. This isn't a montage.
No. There is no real montage.
Yeah, as I said, the movie lacks a montage.
Now, if you're a real film expert, you know, according to film theorists, montage destroys cinema.
Yeah.
That flash forwards, flashbacks, slow-mo, all of those are detrimental to cinema. So if anything, this is, to cinema fans, to film theorists, this is a pure movie. Doesn't have a flash forward, doesn't have a flashback, doesn't have a montage, doesn't have slow-mo. This is a pure film.
It's got the devil in it.
Unlike fucking, Tarantino movies, they suck in comparison to Guess Who. Guess Who, made by Tarantino, would be weird.
Did you watch Pulp Fiction? John Travolta dies, and then he comes back.
I like how Dante
hands in the mic,
and also how far away they're sitting from everybody else. It's like, no, you're the devil. You sit over there.
Well, they're observers. They're like still in charge of the party. They still make sure that it runs effectively. So he can't just be sitting.
Yeah,
there
that's not
Jamal.
Like,
he's like, where's Jamal?
It's very nice that they let Dante's wife come. Because he's working now, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's allowed to do that because it's kind of like
to be
aesthetically pleasing.
And Marilyn really likes him.
And also, you got to have that gag
yeah,
in there where he's a hot wife. I mean, this
And
movie.
what we're also missing as well, that brief shot of the DJ on the roof
Yeah,
with his
yeah,
like
he's
full
just like-
setup. Like they're like,
well,
thanks for the
no.
wedding, guys. Now let's have a trance rave. Like he's just hanging out there the whole time.
This
Just-
is before dubstep too, so this movie is like, wow. Yeah, like, where were we at rave parties without dubstep? I mean, where were we, Rob? Tell me.
we were
Tell me now.
techno in the 90s, but we'll skip over that.
Yeah, we took there in the 80s as well.
So guys, remember what Ryan said way earlier in the film? By Sunday, he'll be part of the family.
And he is. He's broke, unemployed, and he's white, but he loves my Teresa. That's all right with us. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm just Percy Jones doing impersonation for the rest of the podcast. Will just be.
Did we take account?
Dante clapped.
Did we take account
What?
on how many times the word Percy Jones?
Oh
was
no,
said?
I wasn't going
We
to
should've-
try. I would look if I did that. I don't know if I'd stop. I mean, it would be like, Ryan, what happened to the room? And you're like,
This
I'm
is-
written in blood everywhere on the wall as Percy Jones.
This is a fire hazard. What's going on?
Oh yeah,
Like,
Dante's
this,
hell.
This, like only the devil could pull that off. And if this is Australia, that would be a fire.
I like how you said this is a fire hazard, and it cuts to Dante like lifting his wine glass.
And he's like-
"Yeah, yes, Rob, it is."
Now remember, nothing, including the house being burnt down, is as bad as bringing the white boy home. So if the house did catch fire, not as bad. So now it cuts to the end, in which we're getting
The
credits. but it's
version,
also
the
like a
version I
video.
watched didn't have this. So this is actually the first
Oh
time.
really?
really?
We were talking about this
Maybe I went.
before.
Maybe I fell asleep. I don't know. Either way.
What?
This is what we were
this
talking
is what I'm
about.
talking about for, where
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mum's
yeah.
just like, you know what that face is, and it's
Oh.
clearly her like old face a little. Like the way he snaps her, she looks so like. And there's a bit where they kind of run away from the wedding, and they're like, oh, the vows, and they're like, where are you two going? And he literally says something like, you know I'm gonna shake the mattress with her or something, and it's like, that's your daughter you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
in front of.
and earlier on, he made a point about how you don't say the word bone in this house.
Yeah. There it is. What was that, Mom? You know what that is, Teresa. You're a grown-ass woman. Like, Jesus Christ. If your mum said that to you, how would you
It
feel?
was something sick.
And then you're like, I'm not a grown-ass woman, Mom. I'm a man. And then you're like,
You're not my real dad. You're your mum. Shut up.
leave her alone. She's my son.
Like how everyone wants to watch the party except for the mum.
Like-
Like, let's watch the vows.
And like, nah, fuck the vows.
Nothing says white guy at a wedding than doing some really bad moves on the dance floor.
No, but he actually does really good moves. That's the funniest part. No, seriously. Like,
doing the
you're
hustle.
about to see... No, he's doing that because they made a point earlier that the hustle was their dance. So he's joining in on their dance, which is cool. And they're making fun of him. It's like, yeah, you know, he's doing a great hustle. He's turning it up. But Ashton Kutcher does actually know how to dance. I don't know what that looks about. He's like, Samoan, huh? My new racist feelings. Where's my new... We broke up last week.
Oh, that's interesting. Because the credits literally just called him Samoan boyfriend.
Yeah, well, his name's Manu. Come on. And girl, he is too big. He is
Oh,
a
he's a
bone
bone
crusher.
crusher. There it is.
Oh. Do not use the word bone in my house, Rob. Do not use it in his house. Jesus. So yeah, there they go. She's dancing. and-
Where's Percy Jones and Marilyn going?
Wait, Percy Jones. Wait, look at this. So subtle. It's like, let's see that again. Look at that face. Oscar winner he could have been.
But they're
upset.
not old enough to know what they're doing.
We gotta
Nah.
shake some sheets. Is that right with you?
Yeah.
I thought you said no bone in the house. That was the
Ah,
punchline.
no.
Yeah. Nothing gets you in the mood like knowing your parents are banging.
Right, and here they go, where they're going to do the lift, and they do it quite well. If I could lift Zoe Saldana, I would. I'd learn how.
I could probably do it.
Could you?
Yeah.
You strong?
If it was Zoe Saldana, I'd do it.
Yeah, that's what my argument was.
I'd make it work.
And look at Dante
I'd
in the
find a
background.
way.
He's like, oh, that's very impressive. I can't wait for him to use those moves in hell. Mm.
If there's anything this wedding has taught me is that I need to get myself a beige suit because there's a lot of dudes in beige suits with really hot wives, and I guess that's the trick.
Then again, also the Samoan boyfriend's got a beige suit.
Oh, wait, but...
Yeah,
oh, look,
true.
here's Marcus.
That's not Marcus. That's
Oh,
That's
no.
Reggie.
Oh, fuck off, Reggie. Where's Marcus, the real hero?
Reggie's got a beige looking suit.
Yeah, and they even make a comment that's like, it's amazing she didn't pop out of that dress. And it's just like, good. I was also thinking that. That was my one criticism.
and that's
So,
it.
the movie's finally over. Well, an hour and 40 minutes long. It does make you feel the waiting time. I'm gonna go launch straight into my review and what I'm gonna rate this, guys, okay? This movie, Emotional Peace. It deals with emotional topics, issues, and themes. It grabs a classic, well-loved story of Hollywood and turns it into a 2005 comedy with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher. They managed to succeed, and I think the part of the reasons for why this film didn't work is because it was so edgy and because it has an actually dramatic, poignant performance by a comedian, a Hollywood actor, Ashton Kutcher, who we still today don't take seriously enough, even though he is trying, and he always has been. This film is one of the best films that you could ask for. It's a family movie, it's a race movie, it's a comedy, and it's dramatic at the same time. This movie needs more love, needs more respect. You need to get yourself a copy of Guess Who. If I had to give it a rating, guys, there's only one kind of rating I can give this movie. Do you want to guess?
Would it be a Jimmy Lunchbox?
No, it's going to be Percy Jones. It's a Percy Jones out of Percy Jones.
Fantastic, Ryan.
Let's hear from you, Rob. If you hear a bit of a review from you and a rating out of whatever you feel.
Yeah. Look, I loved it. I came in expecting nothing, and it surprised me. And like we've discussed, it's covered a lot of bases. It's a family movie. It tackles some tensioned issues with some people might not like to talk about, but we most certainly have dived straight into it, which you can as a white man very easily, and
it's really easy to talk about race as white man,
not think about the repercussions at all. But there's some good performances in it, and like there was never a point in the film where I actually wanted to, I didn't want to stop it. Like I got into it, the story hooked me. And now that I've learned a lot about the backstory and about the Samoan dude, that made it even more funny.
Yeah, it gave it more layers.
But look, I would recommend this to anybody. Go buy it, download it, do whatever you have to do, put it on, watch it with the family, watch it with your mum. It won't be awkward at all when they talk about sex. Just watch this
Shaking the sheets.
Yeah, this is a film to watch with your mum.
And your dad.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to give this 5 beige suits out of 6 beige suits.
Whoa, that's a lot of beige suits.
With purple ties.
Whoa, antagonistic there.
Rob's going edgy.
Let's hear from the barman.
The bappa.
The tech man.
The bappa.
The Casper whatever man.
That's not my last name, but it's what I say it is.
Go on. My son. He's not my son, we're both the same age. Bit awkward, but go on.
It's my birthday in 15 days.
Write that one down, everyone.
Yes, even though this episode will come out in like 2 days from now, which at that point will be 13 days.
Go, Bartek!
That's me! Okay, so this movie, it was once again a fantastic movie that we've done on this show. Definitely unappreciated because, and even Wikipedia says this, it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. Usually when I heard that a movie gets mixed reviews, I always thought it meant like that it
sucks.
It's like it's in the like 50.
Well, there's a reason why.
There's a 50s, 60s range, like don't worry about this one. But no, I think this one really does have a love it or hate it kind of reception. With a very... I guess because it's in that like mixed section, people think it's a negative thing.
Yeah, tolerant people love it, racists hate it.
Yeah. So that kind of puts down its reputation so that when you hear about it, and like even Rob said, when he first heard of it, he didn't think much of it. But when you actually invest time to watch it, you learn exactly what this movie has to offer. And we weren't wrong about anything we were talking about in this whole episode. We were talking about the issues it brought up, the whole masculinity thing, the idea of a duality, a dynamic between two partners, whether it was people in a relationship or two men, regardless of race, I should add, and even then, racial issues. This movie tackles an idea that everyone is the same. It's a movie that really just tries to say, this is real life. There are Percy Jones, there are Simon Greens, there are Teresas,
there are Marilyns.
And we solve our problems with go-karting.
and there's Marcus as well.
And, well, I got to admit that go-karting, I love Crash Team Racing. More than Mario Kart, I should add.
Take that, Mario Kart.
Take that, Mario Kart.
Write it in your sphincter.
Yes, and you're
Right
right,
in Percy Jones.
Marcus. Would you say there are a lot of Marcuses in real life?
Oh yeah, it's the most realistic thing about this movie. So is that your rating?
I wish there were more Marcuses that I knew. I have to give this a rating now, Ryan.
Yeah.
Just letting you know. And the rating I have to give this is a... What does my heart say?
Marcus.
My heart says... yes.
Just yes.
This movie's yes.
This movie is yes. Okay,
quality.
now this is the part in which we, meaning me, I get reviews from IMDb. And a lot of the time, the reviews are very easy to pick. But this was really hard because there weren't a lot of outstandingly positive ones. There were lots of average ones, like, oh, this is okay movie. And there were lots of ones that were like, this isn't very good. So it's a real challenge to find like a 10 out of 10 review because they're always the greatest. And a lot of times with these reviews, I've been coining the phrase, it's like looking into another dimension in where these people just don't understand the world, but they understand the film, and those two things combine. So this first one, Rob, was written in 2006. So this came out straight after. And this is, the title is Fun, Feel Good Story. 8 stars out of 10, Rob. Okay, even though the movie is corny, it still sends a message that love will prevail. Family means everything, and without their support, love and consideration, life will be harder. Just knowing that your family loves you and what you love makes facing the world that much easier. I compare this to My Big Fat Greek Wedding in cultural attributes. There is a world out there of give and take, and for the most part, I feel people have forgotten that. These two movies show that consideration and the almighty give and take are important to long-lasting relationships in any culture, religion, and family. I recommend watching this movie with an open mind, hoping to laugh, love, cry, and remember to have a healthy relationship. And I hope this inspires you to have considerations for others in your world. Yeah, the Big Fat Greek Wedding. We didn't even comment on that. I remember that it was in this review, but I didn't really want to bring it up until this point, or if someone else realized that. But yeah, there are lots of parallels. Both of them romantic, kind of romantic comedies dealing with racial differences. It is, even though, you don't think Greek and black, but it's still very important. They have a lot to say.
Yeah, my mum loves that movie. I should probably recommend Guess Who to her.
Yeah, we should recommend Guess Who to all our mums. Didn't you hear Rob's review? He said it's for your mum. Okay, this one is Pleasant Surprise, 8 stars. This one was written in 2007, and this is what they had to say. First of all, I'm not a fan of Bernie Mac. And certainly...
Great start.
What was the review again? I mean, the rating?
Pleasant Surprise, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Bernie Mac, and certainly not of Ashton Kutcher, but I liked this movie. While the movie is certainly predictable, it has its humorous moments. Although Bernie Mac plays a little overly protective father, he does not overplay it to the point that it is just a ridiculous caricature. Ashton Kutcher has a good haircut. That's what they say. Ashton Kutcher has a good haircut and looks like a nice clean-cut male. Not that long-haired goofball we usually see. My favourite scene was the one at the dinner table. Not to give anything away, there were racist comments and racist jokes, but in good taste and fun.
Nothing like some tasteful racism.
And fun. That scene shows that both sides can be racist in their own rights, but still enjoy a good joke when it is truly funny. While not the masterpiece that Look Who's Coming to Dinner was, that's what they put that classic Look Who's Coming to Dinner was, it was a whole lot more fun to watch. This is typical formula romantic comedy, but it is heavier on comedy than romance. 8 out of 10. Now, guys, this next one's a 10 out of 10. It's very hard to find a 10 out of 10 one, but this, worth it.
Okay.
A delightfully funny movie, 10 out of 10. Now, Rob, Bartek, be careful. This does contain spoilers.
Oh, shit.
I found Guess Who to be absolutely delightful. Even though there are a lot of differences between Guess Who and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, I still see a resemblance. I also think that Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy would have enjoyed it. Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher, yeah, wrap your brain around them two enjoying this. Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher did a wonderful job. They seem to work well with each other. As far as the movie is concerned, I found nothing racial in it, except for the scene at the dinner table when Simon makes some racial jokes. But remember, it was only a movie. Yes, the jokes weren't necessary, but they were part of the script and movie, and I think no one should have gotten offended because it was just a movie. That's right, guys, get over it, it's just a movie. As far as Bernie Mac's character and Ashton Kutcher's characters getting off to a slow start, sometimes that happens between two characters. Eventually, you see them start a friendship near the middle of the movie. I like how this person's like kind of explaining how movies work. Like, in case you didn't know, opening credits happen. No, okay. Even though there were some serious things happening in the movie, basically the movie was very funny. A perfect example is when Bernie Mac's character doesn't believe Ashton Kutcher's character about knowing about the racing circuit and tests him by racing him in a go-kart. I found it extremely funny when they start to race each other and try to beat each other and land up tearing through the hedges and getting stopped by a police officer. Very funny stuff. Another funny example is when Ashton Kutcher's character teaches Bernie Mac's character the tango, and later on Bernie Mac's character denies to his wife that he was taught the tango by Ashton Kutcher's character. Very funny. This movie had a great cast, and this is what they actually wrote. This is great. This movie had a great cast. Zoe Saldana is extremely great in this movie, and so is Judith Boot, as is Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac. I basically found nothing offensive about the movie except for the scene at the dinner table, but like I said before, the movie was absolutely delightful and very funny. 10 out of 10 stars, guys. Now this one doesn't have a real rating. This one's more of a statement piece. Written in 2012, so remember that was like 4 years ago, so that's not really far away. This one's called Racism Sucks. This is not about comedy. This is not about great actors. This is a movie about racism. It must be stopped. I haven't watched many American movies dealing with racism this way. I wish racists watch this movie and try to get the answer why they hate someone only because they are not from the same race. So what if our kids' partners are of a different race? Should we judge them because of that? Should we make our kids suffer because we can't accept their choice? No. Let's be happy no matter what our beloved ones choose to do. Be with and find the happiness with. Be happy for them being happy. Racism is such a big world's problem, but I feel much better about the future when I see that someone is making this kind of movies. I love this kind of movies. And then this is just one sentence. It can help. If only one person changes opinion about races, this movie is worth of making. So, you heard it. Oh, but guys, I have a final 10 out of 10 star review for you here. It's just called Excellent. 10 out of 10. This movie is hilarious. I could watch it over and over again. The racial bits in it are a bit sad and a bit funny. Don't get me wrong, I hate racist people. I'm black myself, but I still love this movie. I love Percy Jones. He is really professional. Like, that's the end of the sentence. I love Percy Jones. He's really professional. I also love Ashton Kutcher. Too bad he's got Demi Moore. Yeah, this was written in 2006.
Okay, 2006.
Too bad he's got Demi Moore. Also, Teresa, in brackets, I forgot her real name, and Marilyn, in brackets, I forgot her real name too, are really good actors, and they are really pretty. Everyone says I look like Teresa, which I do. In brackets, don't mean to brag. I also love the music at the end. That really sad music with the piano, that's a bit tear-jerking. Anyway, 10 out of 10 for this movie, always.
To that reviewer,
Always.
if that reviewer is listening right now,
Which I imagine they are.
with regards to the actresses' names, there's this website called IMDb.
No, if you look at one of the other reviewers, they called her Zoe Saldana, so
Yeah, I
that's her
noticed.
name.
Zoe Saldana's was pretty good.
Zoe Salad was pretty great. So that was Guess Who, everyone.
Zoe Salad.
How did we feel, guys? Feel enlightened now, having gone through a second watch where we actually did discuss the meanings and properties of the film? Because sometimes a film like this can just be seen as a popcorn movie. It's just a movie that you sit there and you just enjoy, but there's always a thought process behind it. Did it make you think?
It did make me think.
Oh yeah, this was definitely not one where I just went, Percy Jones, that's funny.
Bernie Mac.
That's it. Behind all the Percy Joneses and Reggies and Marcuses, there's some deep stuff here.
Like the Dantes.
And the Dantes.
This was a deep movie for deep people. And that's the best I can say about this film. Isn't that right? Anything else you guys want to bring up before we finish off on this great unappreciated masterpiece?
Oh dear, I think we've talked about everything there is to talk about
Well-
this film. Until something like a sixth trivia point comes out or something.
Ooh, another. Can one of the trivia points be about Marcus, please? Please,
That would be
please,
great.
please. Where they're like, fun fact, Marcus is great. And it's like a picture of him being great. Well, if that's it, guys, it has been a wonderful time talking about such a wonderful movie.
Oh yeah.
You have been listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. Of course, you can follow our work on iTunes, in which we are under Spit and Polish Presents. And of course, we have our Facebook page, which is also Spit and Polish Presents, in which you can like that, follow some of our content that we have on there too, and
It links us to our pod.
it links to the Podbean, all that kind of stuff. So don't feel too scared to talk to us, because hey, we'd love to hear a movie suggestion, because hey, we might have missed out on Guess Who. I could have not seen that trailer years ago and we wouldn't have done it. Or hey, we might have missed out on Big Fat Lie. Or hey, we could have missed out on this. There's so many movies out there, we can't know them all. So feel free to drop us a line or just give us your thoughts on how the show is for you. Other than that, you guys have been fantastic, great, amazing, spectacular, wonderful Percy Joneses. Ultra Percy Joneses. Rob, you've been a pretty good Percy Jones. And Bartek, you've been an amazing Percy Jones. We've all been amazing Percy Jones. Percy Jones!
Well, I think Rob's the best Percy Jones.
Until next time, guys, remember to Percy...
Until next guy.
Until next guy. No, till next time, guys, remember to Percy Jones.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Cheers.